Mighty fancy automobile. Oh, she's a real road king, all right. 0 to 60 in 7.5. She'll do a quarter mile, 13.40. 390 horsepower. 500 foot-pounds of torque. Whatever that is. Performance and image, that's what it's all about.
There's no such thing as a stupid question. This is Drive Radio. All of your automotive questions are just one phone call away. 303-477-5600. Drive Radio is made possible by the member shops of Colorado Select Auto Care Centers. To find one near you, go to drive-radio.com. Now, Drive Radio on KLZ 560.
And good morning, everybody. Welcome to Drive Radio. And yes, I am your host. It's 10:01 in the morning on an absolutely gorgeous Saturday morning here in Colorado, August the 1st. Where has the summer gone? Dennis Brewster is here with us also.
Yeah, it's gone fast, hasn't it?
It whips by, doesn't it?
It does.
Well, part of it is we had all that rain and, halfway through the summer, and then it kind of cleared up, and it just seems like now it's halfway over.
Napa know-how!
Yes, it is.
PB Blaster penetrates.
And that's why we're here, because of Napa.
That's right.
Most definitely.
Yep. And, I just started working on my sprinklers, too, finding the ones that are broken and stuff. I don't know
because you really haven't had to use them much until the last several weeks. So
yeah, and now they're finding the brakes.
All right, so speaking of Napa, one of our great sponsors, Napa Auto Parts. You'll hear some new ads for them today, things that are going on throughout the month at Napa. Also, Colorado Select Auto Care Centers. They're one of our great sponsors on Drive Radio. And a new sponsor that you can go and find out about on the website, drive-radio.com, is BG Products. So we talk a lot about 44K and their engine additives and all the different things that BG has. You can find out all about them by just going to our website, drive-radio.com. Click on the sponsors, and you'll see BG right there. And I want to say a special thank you to BG for actually being a sponsor of Drive Radio. We appreciate them very much. We'll have some tech tips on a very routine basis from them. Chris from BG will actually also join us, so I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be a great partnership. We're going to have them for at least the next year, and I hope much, much longer than that. So BG Products, thank you very much for joining Drive Radio.
Yeah, and if you want to see some more of the sponsors, just go to Drive Radio and see them there. Because whenever you're going to do something with your vehicle, you should be checking that out.
Exactly,
because there's a lot of things in there where
That's right.
John's done a great job of getting people in.
Great point. Appreciate that very much, Dennis. All right, let's do this. We've got phones ringing. 303-477-5600 is our number. We've got lines open. Call us right now, and we'll get you right on Drive Radio. John, you are first up on Drive Radio today. What's going on?
Oh, nothing much. Listen, I talked to you a couple of weeks ago about that Chevy Trax. Now, I don't know if you got to test it yet or not. It's no big deal. I was just curious.
I have not. I've put a request in to actually get one, but I have not had one yet.
Okay, and one more question. Now, that checker cab that they made, they haven't made it for years, but that came with, let me see, they came with a Chevy engine, a 230 or 250 cubic inch inline six. Now, did that have a torque flight transmission with it? Do you know?
Ken Rackley was on with me last week, and I don't believe so. And Dennis, you might know this better than I, but I think what we determined last week is the majority of those, especially the later checker cabs, had the Turbo 400 transmission in them.
Oh, okay.
Which is a great transmission.
I asked, the torque flight was probably the one of the best transmissions at that time.
Well,
one of the most
that's probably debatable. The Turbo 400 was really, out of all the transmissions built in that era, that's a really tough transmission.
It could take a lot more abuse than.
I mean, that's the same transmission that was in most heavy duty 3/4 ton, 1 ton Chevy trucks and so on. It was a really. It was a tough transmission.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know that.
It was used in racing and all sorts of things. So it was a very, very good transmission.
And it could take the pounding is what the thing was.
You rarely went through a Turbo 400 unless somebody had been out racing it, damaging it that way somehow. Typically everyday use, they would run and run and run.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, listen, thank you very much. You have a good day.
You too,
a great
John.
Show.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. All right, lines open. 303-477-5600. Anything at all that you want to talk about, we would love to hear from you. And Dennis, I don't know that I took time before the show to go through the question of the day. Do you have one?
We'll think about one next break.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Because I did not put one in. I should have done that. We've got a lot going on, so I just didn't get to that. Next week, I want to make a special announcement too. Next week, we will be live at Phoenix Weaponry up in Longmont. So it's 1840 Skyway Drive up in Longmont. Best way to get there is head up I-25. I believe you get off at the 119 exit. I'm almost sure the Highway 119 exit, and you head west and just follow follow your Google directions, and you'll find it. You go down about a mile, and it's going to be on the left-hand side. There's a little office complex back in there. Best thing to do is just Google 1840 Skyway Drive, or just go to their website, phoenixweaponry.com, which, again, back to Dennis's point, you can find a link to them right off of drive-radio.com. But we're going to be up there. I'll be there. I think Jeff Larry's shaking his head. Yes, he's going to be there. We'll have some giveaways and a lot of great stuff, and there'll be a lot of great deals at Phoenix Weaponry. And then, of course, Sportsman of Colorado is going to be on right after us, so we'll spend a good solid 4 hours up there. And then in August 22nd is your place. Yeah, will be another remote, and that'll be at our shop in Parker, Lincoln and Dransfeld Road there. Just head south about a half mile. But we will be having a car show 9 to 2. And some clinics and some other things. Yeah, we'll have technicians there to answer questions. We'll have our service writers there if you have to know the pricing and stuff we can do. Awesome. And we open up the shop so everybody can see it. We'll have free food. We'll have a lot of giveaways. Great. That's awesome. And then we'll see who else wants to step up. Awesome. And then the 29th of August, K&N Engineering, the filter company that we talk about all the time, they will also be in studio with us with a great partner, a charitable partner that they've teamed up with. They're going to also join us on the 29th. So a lot of great stuff coming up in August. But let's get to the phones. Lines are lit. As soon as somebody drops off, call us. We'll get you right on air, 303-477-5600. Jerry in Greeley, you are up. What's going on today, sir?
Well, my 98 Mitsubishi Montero Sport with a 3-liter V6 makes intermittent valve noise. And one in particular is odd, where it goes through a rhythmic pattern where the tapping starts out very soft and gets louder and louder over about a 15-second cycle at idle, and then it drops off and starts over again. And that's just got me puzzled. What would cause that?
And that's after it's warmed up?
Yes.
Is it noisy when it's cold?
Well, yeah, intermittently. I mean, it's more common when it's cold.
Yeah. I'm thinking lifters.
How many miles? I didn't ask either, Jerry. How many miles are on it?
170K.
170. Some of it could just be, wear that you've got in the valve train itself. Do you think it's actually, a valve type noise, a valve train noise, and not a timing chain or something along those lines, or can you tell?
Well, as my hearing's not the best, but as near as I can tell, it's I think it's they call them valve lash adjusters.
Yeah, and it probably needs an adjustment.
Yeah.
If those are adjustable.
And I don't remember on a 98 if it is.
I can't remember either. But, noises within engines can go all over the place, and it'll transfer the noise. So it's hard to tell. I forget, like John is saying, it could have the timing chain. There could be something there or a noise in the front, and it will make it sound like it's up in the top part of the motor.
The other thing you could possibly do, we were just talking about BG, a minute ago, and they've got some additives to help when it comes to some lifter noises and things along those lines. It may not be a bad idea to just go to their website, and it's BG Prod, so BGPROD.com. They've got an engine section there where you can actually look at all the different additives they've got for all of the different things they build things for, and you may actually find something there, and it may be as simple as just putting MOA, which is their motor oil additive, in it. But they've got some other things that they've got that might actually help that also. In fact, that'd be a great question. We're going to get Chris from BG on here in the next week or two. Hold that thought. We may, you may want to call back in when I get Chris on and see if they've got anything specific for that vehicle.
Okay. Can I mention something from last week's show?
Yes.
Quickly. Towards the end of the show, somebody called in to ask Jim from the health department about why it might not be possible to have computer access to see if somebody
yes correct if they passed the rapid test, yes, the rapid screen.
And he said one of the reasons he gave for not doing that was it just contradicted what EnviroTest had told me years ago. When I called EnviroTest, they told me that their rapid scan stations only issued passing grades. They said if you went by and failed, it was if you'd never been there. Because I asked them that same question. I said, what if I go by once and I'm good, and go by again and I'm bad? Does it go back and forth? And they said no. They said that the bad readings were just totally discounted as if you'd never been there.
And that's not far off of what he said last weekend, because really what he said was the reason why they can't put it online, according to what Jim said, was if in fact you've passed the first trip through, but the second one you failed, but that's within a few days of when they're actually going to send out your registration notice to tell you whether you actually need to get an emissions test or not. The problem is that second one negates what happened in the first one. Thereby, if they were going to, put that online where it said initially you had passed, basically what he said, it was the logistics of getting all of that figured out. There's just too many moving parts.
Maybe I misinterpreted his answer.
Yeah, really what he was trying to get at is there's so many moving parts between when the cards get mailed, what has to happen going through the county, the fact that in your case that second test would negate the first passing test. All of those things just get really, really cumbersome, and it just doesn't give them. Now, is there, with enough money spent, can anything be figured out? Well, absolutely. The question is that what we want the money spent on?
Plus the fact that if that happened, then, people are going to be calling in like crazy saying, well, I passed once. Now what happened? It's not passing now. And then they're going to have all these people wanting to.
From what he said, I don't think you'll ever see results posted online.
Right.
Yep.
But that was an interesting program. I'm glad you had him on.
And he'll be back. That was something Larry set up, and we'll have Jim back. And Jim, if you're listening again, thanks so much for joining us. I really, really appreciate it. I know you listen on a regular basis. So, Jim, thank you so much. And if I didn't say that right, Jim, call us and straighten us out. But I think I said that correctly.
Yeah.
Well, great. Thank you, gentlemen.
You betcha, Jerry. Thank you very much. Have a great week. I really appreciate the phone call. Ann in Fort Collins, you are next. What's going on?
Hey, I want to ask you about a brake problem. I don't know if you have a brake expert or if I should go on with this problem.
We have many brake experts, so go for it. Between myself and Dennis, we can figure that out.
Okay. I've had a problem for basically about 3 months, and it started with a flat tire that I had in May, and it heated. I probably was riding on the tire for about 2 miles before I realized I had a flat tire. Okay. And it heated the whole unit up enough so that it melted the emblem on the
wheel.
On the wheel.
Yeah.
And then I had it. Then I had new tires put on it. And what happened was, I ended up having no brakes about 2 months later. And I didn't realize I was having a brake problem, but then eventually I had absolutely no brake. But I rolled into a station that could fix me. And what they did is they replaced the caliper and the brake pad.
Okay.
Then what happened is I drove on it for about 3 weeks, and it would, my car would slow down to, in a 45 or 50 mile an hour zone, to 20 miles an hour. So I had it tested somewhere else, and they found that the caliper wasn't engaging, that when the car was in neutral, they couldn't push it. The caliper wasn't engaging.
It wasn't disengaging. It was actually staying stuck is what was happening.
Oh, it was stuck. Okay. Yep. Okay. And so then
was it the same caliper that had been replaced, or was it the other side? And here's the other question. Did they do both sides? I mean, typically when a caliper goes bad like that with a vehicle that old, you'd want to put both calipers on both sides.
Okay.
If they didn't do that, not saying that that's the wrong way to do it, but the correct way to do it, the really correct repair is to put, pads on both sides, put calipers on it. If it needs rotors, you won't do one rotor. You would do both rotors and do it correctly.
Okay. I don't know. I thought they did both calipers.
Okay. If they did both, and here's the deal. If they did both and one of them is sticking, then it still should be under warranty. There's very few brake companies out there, even if that caliper was put on in the last, 2 years, it's really unlikely to not have that warrantable, is my point. They've got a really long time warranty on calipers.
Okay. My problem, so they replaced the caliper this last week. And now I'm still getting... I was getting the tire was smoking on the right passenger front side. That's where the problem's been.
Okay.
I mentioned the flat tire and that high heat from May, wondering if that has anything to do with this continuing problem.
Yes, it very well could be, because the thing they need to check that I would be checking right now is a wheel bearing also. So not only would I have checked the the caliper, the rotor, and all the brake components. But if you got it that hot, it's possible, especially with the age, that the wheel bearing's been damaged.
Okay, is that the hub? Does
Yes.
that mean-
Yes.
Okay, and how would they know? Because they said they looked at the hub and they thought it was fine.
Well, they're really hard to test because on a front-wheel drive car, which is what you have, there's always a drag and a resistance because of the drivetrain that it's connected to. Without really unhooking the axle and spinning it, it's really, really hard to tell. Just looking at it, you would never know. You can't look at it and feel it and know if it's bad.
Okay, so I'd have to spin the axle.
You really need to take the axle out of it and then spin the hub to determine whether or not the wheel bearing is good.
Okay, now what's the axle?
The axle is what drives the front wheel.
It's
So
called
that's is that a whole lot of taking apart?
Yes, and when they were doing a lot of the brake work, it wouldn't have been that big of a deal to go ahead and do that at that point in time. But to go back,
sometimes techs get lazy in a way, because if you had that hot,
I would have checked all that.
Everything should have been checked at that
because
point.
if it's hot enough to melt the emblem on the wheel, everything's gotten very hot, which means I would be surprised if the bearing's not bad, to be honest with you.
I would just go ahead and replace that bearing, because if
I would too.
you've already tempered it, which means you've overheated it, and the cage in there could be melting down.
I would have put one on it when I did the brakes, personally.
Okay. Okay, and do you have to do both sides or just one side?
No, in that particular case, you could do just the right side.
And that's called the hub.
The wheel bearing, the hub assembly is what we call it in the industry. So just the hub assembly on that right front.
Thank you a whole lot.
You're very welcome.
Do you have a place to take it to?
I think she does. And
okay.
And by the way, thank you and for listening also during the week. So Ann listens during the week a lot also. So believe me, she's heard enough of where to go to get this taken care of. So drive-radio.com, you can figure out where to take that vehicle, and give us a call right now if you want to get on air, 303-477-5600. Randy and Parker, you're coming up in just 1 second. Don't go away. Bob is ahead of you. He's got a flat tappet cam question. We've got a quick break we're going to take, and we'll be right back right here on Drive Radio. John Rush, Dennis Brewster, KLZ 560.
Napa know-how! PB Blaster Penetrating Catalyst is like magic on stubborn bolts. And this month at Napa Auto Parts, you can get PB Blaster Penetrating Catalyst for just 99 cents after a $3 mail-in rebate. And don't forget Napa Oil Change Combo with 5 quarts of Napa Conventional Oil Change plus a Napa Silver Oil Filter is just $17.99 every day at Napa. Conquer the job like you conquer life with Napa Know-How.
Napa Know-How!
Word of mouth is a great way to find professional references, but choosing an auto technician, it's one of those exceptions, unless that referral comes from another auto technician. Think about that for a moment. A referral from one competitor to another. Every Colorado Select Auto Care Center offers the industry-leading 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty on every repair. The dealerships can't even match that. Find a Colorado Select Master Technician near you at coloradoselect.org.
Here are the 3 C's of high performance in less than 60 seconds. Your engine piston rings must have good compression, which makes good combustion, which saves cash at the pump. But you lose compression when piston rings clog with carbon. Today's engines use low tension rings, which clog much easier, which lowers compression, combustion, and the amount of cash in your pocket with higher fuel cost and expensive repairs. This problem can be fixed as fast as your next oil change. The best service shops use a BG product that cleans the engine and accomplishes the 3 C's in just 15 minutes. It has 3 letters, EPR, as in Engine Performance Restoration, that cleans piston rings and restores compression, which increases and saves you. Find a shop with BG products at bgfindashop.com. That's bgfindashop.com. So, at your next oil change, remember the 3 C's. You will find more of this in your engine and this in your pocket when you clean your engine with BG.
The 2 most critical and complicated components of your vehicle are the engine and the transmission. The engine makes it run, and the transmission makes it go. Most repair facilities specialize in one or another. Larry's Automotive and Transmission Repair does both, and they do both exceptionally well. Their technicians are ASE Master Certified, and the shop is A+ with the BBB, as you'd expect from members of Colorado Select Auto Care Centers. Larry's transmission experts are ATRA certified, so you can be confident that they know your transmission. Larry's is the rare combination of expert auto repair and the area's best transmission specialist. Your repairs are done faster and it's far more cost efficient. Whatever you have under your hood, Larry's has it covered under one roof. Larry's Automotive and Transmission Repair. Call and schedule your special attention KLZ 560 appointment today, 303 303-427-2108. 303-427-2108.
Reliability. It's what every driver wants from their vehicle. Regardless of make or model, you want your vehicle to take you where you need to go. Reliability is exactly what the Colorado Select Auto Care Centers offer. They've set the standard for excellence in automotive repair and maintenance. Each member offers Napa Auto Care Peace of Mind warranty, along with the highest level of customer service and integrity. To find a Colorado Select Auto Care Center near you, log on to drive-radio.com or call 303-546-NAPA.
John Rush, Drive Radio, KLZ 560, 1020 now on an absolutely beautiful Saturday morning. We've got lines lit up. As soon as somebody drops off, we'll get you right on air, 303-477-5600. Bob, you are with us next. What's going on today?
Question on flat tappet cams. I've heard you guys mention to use the diesel oil, the Rotella, to protect them.
It doesn't have to be Rotella, but any of the diesel weight, 1540 oils works a little better, yes.
And I also mentioned you're going to have the guys for BG on.
That's correct.
On another automotive program, there's a BG representative, and he says the MOA has what you need for flat tappet cams. I've never heard that before.
Could be. I haven't either. But if that's what he said, they are the experts. He would know if it's got the right, zinc content and so on. Then he very well could be correct.
Yeah, because I was wondering what, as far as cost-wise and benefits, whether you use the MOA and just use full synthetic oil or to just stick with the diesel.
That's, you have to do the math, and it's your call. The MOA and a full synthetic will definitely be more expensive of an oil change than if you just run 1540 diesel oil. But, then
you get more protection.
And now we're talking, we're really not comparing apples to apples because a full synthetic over just a regular diesel, conventional diesel oil are not one and the same. And a lot of it's going to be, come down to how much do you drive the vehicle?
It's not high mileage. It's a 99 Grand Cherokee with that inline six, not much more than 50,000 miles on it.
Okay. In your case, that one might be a good candidate to run the MOA in a full synthetic versus the diesel oil. But again, you're going to have to just do the math and figure out how many oil changes a year do you do? Is it worthwhile? Either method would work fine, especially if Chris says that MOA has what it needs.
Yeah, I think that was the guy's name.
Mm-hmm. Chris is our guy.
Yeah, because I wanted to laud MOA products. I've used them in different cars, and I've recommended different products to people, and I've always got positive feedback.
Mm-hmm. They're good. Yep. No, all of BG, I'll go on the limb and say this: they really don't make a bad product. I've used their stuff since. I'm not joking here. I have known about BG since I was probably 4 years old, and my dad handed me down the first BG jacket that he used to get at the dealership years ago. That's how long I've been around BG.
I think they started, I think I heard him say in the 70s, and these guys originally had worked for, Hastings.
Yes, that's correct.
In there.
Yep. No, it's a really great company, and like I say, they really don't build a bad product. I mean, all of us as shops use BG products.
Yeah, they're really excellent because on the flat tappet cam and stuff, I had talked to Ken Rackley out at his shop on that, and I found out about the MOA a day or two after I talked to Ken. So I thought I'd ask you.
And that's a good product. There's nothing wrong with their products. And like I say, all of our shops stock probably not every single product BG carries, but the way their system works, we can get it within a matter of hours typically.
Because Napa stocks it.
Right.
Yeah, you've recommended some really good. I enjoy your shows, both of your shows. You had me laughing. You mentioned yesterday about the guy in the Walmart.
Snuggles?
Yeah.
Snuggums the pig?
Oh yeah, I can't believe such. They're coming out of the woodwork nowadays.
Yes, they are. Yeah, let's just say there's never a lack of things to talk about
in there. Yeah, keep up your good work.
I'll do it, Bob.
I really enjoy you on both programs.
Thank you, sir.
And you guys give out wonderful information.
Appreciate that very much.
Folks.
Thank you very much, Bob. I appreciate that very, very much. Randy, you are next on Drive Radio. What's going on today?
Hey, guys. Just got a question for you here. Hoping you guys can point me in the right direction.
Sure.
I've got an 03 Ford Taurus with the dual overhead cam V6 3-liter. I'm throwing a P0430 code, which references upstream cat.
Yep.
And I just have a couple questions for you. I had a plugged PCV valve, so it's kind of blowing some oil through and all that. I've since corrected that, but I'm wondering, is there any kind of additive or anything I can run through that will kind of, maybe burn out or clean out some of that before I go the route of changing a cat on?
Well, the problem is with an 03, you're probably looking at cats, to be honest with you, because they're probably how many miles are on the vehicle?
It's got about 92,000 on it.
Oh, not too many.
Not too many. Although it's an 03, I mean, and the cats, just think of it this way. The cats, even today, warranted for 80,000 miles. In an 03, they were warranted for 80,000 miles. So that kind of tells you that once you get past the 80K, you start getting up into the 100K mark. And depending upon how the vehicle's been serviced, maintained, taken care of, has it run rich too many times? Has it had other issues? Does it sit a lot? All those things have an effect on how long the cats last.
Okay.
And your cats are 12 years old.
Okay.
Here's the only thing that would actually potentially help the cats would be BG 44K. If you think at all that, you want to, and you're not going to harm anything in running 44K through it, you could run a tank full through it, see what it does at that point and go from there. I mean, if Chris was sitting here from BG, I think he would say the same thing. That's about the only thing I could think of you could add to see if it actually do anything to help the cats, besides a full injection cleaning. But I just don't know at that point if that's going to do anything on the cat side of the fence.
Okay. Yeah, I thought I'd check. If I can clear the code and then it'll sit for anywhere from a day to about a week before it comes back. So it doesn't seem to be a hard fault other than it runs for a while and it's picking that signal up enough to trip the code. So I thought I'd give it a try, run something through it first. And then if that doesn't at least make it better, then I'll go the cat route.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's about really the only thing that, if the cat efficiency definitely isn't going to be today what it was when the car was new. So, can you bring them back to life? Not really. I mean, once they start to die, they just, I don't know how else to explain this. Once they die, they just die. There's really nothing you can do to revive them.
Okay. Well, thanks for the info, guys.
You're very welcome. Thank you, Randy. Appreciate the phone call. All right, line's open. Drive Radio, KLZ 560 303-477-5600. Call us. We'll get you right on air. I think Ann is back. And Ann, are you looking for a place to actually take the vehicle?
Yes, and I had another question because...
Sure. Let's do the question first.
Okay. Now, what you told me to do is to have it inspected so that see if the axle spins. And if
the hub itself spins.
Oh, to see if the hub
You're
spins.
checking the wheel bearing.
Okay. Then do I have to have the caliper replaced again?
No, you would not need to. As long as it's in good shape and they used a good high quality caliper, no, you would not need to.
Okay. Okay, that's basically my question. And what's the place that I should go or consider going to?
And you're in Fort Collins?
No, or the Denver area.
Well, and what I recommend everybody do is just go to drive-radio.com. Look and see, you can see all of our Colorado Select sponsors on there, which is all the shops that sponsor the program, and just find whoever's closest to you. We've got shops literally from Fort Collins all the way to Parker, which is where Dennis is at. Larry's over in the Westminster area. Larry's Automotive and Transmission. He's at 7231 Bradburn Boulevard. We've got Arvada West. That's over in Arvada. We've got Keeter, which is in the Boulder area. We've got Demir's up in Longmont. So again, we've pretty much got it covered. Just go check out the website and see who's closest to you.
Okay, great. Thanks a lot.
You're very welcome. Appreciate the phone call. And that clears the lines at 10:30 in the morning, which doesn't often happen.
No, but everybody's probably out enjoying the sun like we should be.
If you want to, my point is, if you want to call in, now's your chance. We'll get you right up. Not much of a wait. 303-477-5600 is our phone number. Call us and we'll get you right on air. And one thing that, let's do this. Let's take a quick break. I was going to add something else, but let's do this. We got a gas price deal that Larry brought in where they could fall below $2 by winter. We'll talk about that as soon as we come back. Don't go away. You're listening to John Rush, Dennis Brewster, right here on Drive Radio, KLZ 560.
We breathe dirty air every day, and believe it or not, the air you breathe inside your vehicle can be even more polluted than the air outside. Thankfully, many of the vehicles sold today are equipped with a cabin air filter to help keep the air inside your car clean. If you are driving a car with a dirty or clogged cabin air filter, not only are you breathing dirty air, but it also puts a strain on your car's HVAC system, decreasing its performance and longevity. K&N, the inventor of washable automotive air filters, has applied its decades of high-flow, washable air filter design to cabin air filters for cars and trucks. These robust filters clean and freshen the air coming into your car's interior and are electrostatically charged to hold dust and dirt. They feature a pleated filter media that helps capture most mold, mildew, fungus, spores, bacteria, germs, pollen, and other allergens, while still allowing a high volume of airflow. They are strengthened by a custom design frame for a great fit and years of use. Best of all, K&N cabin air filters are washable and clean up easy with the K&N Refresher Cabin Air Filter Cleaning Kit. They typically only need cleaning every 12 to 15,000 miles or once a year, but you can wash them more often if you'd like, and K&N backs them up with a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited warranty. They come with easy-to-follow installation instructions so you can easily replace your old filter, usually in 5 to 10 minutes. Keep the air inside your car clean and fresh without continually burying and throwing away disposable filters. Find the K&N washable cabin air filter for your car or truck at knfilters.com. That's knfilters.com.
When your car starts making noises you've never heard before,
first thing that goes through your mind is, uh-oh. The next thing is, geez, now where am I going to take this? Do you have a mechanic? Do you trust a mechanic? Do you know where to go? Who do you rely on?
Ed Beery is the owner of Tilden Total Car Care in Englewood and Aurora.
We want to be that mechanic for you. We want to be the folks that you know you can bring your vehicle to and trust that we will do what is right for you and your car every single time you bring it in.
Tilden Total Car Care employs the best ASE certified master technicians. They're AAA approved, BBB approved.
We've got a lot of letters. We got the alphabet running after us because that's one of the things that you have to do to help the folks that don't know us yet know that we're actually the good guys in the business.
You found quality car care you can trust at Tilden Total Car Care, where life is about helping as many people as you can as fast as you can.
Tilden Total Car Care, 2 locations, Federal at Bellevue or 6th and Peoria.
Your wheel alignment can affect tire wear and fuel mileage that will cost you more for repairs and fuel. Arvada West uses state-of-the-art 3D imaging to align all 4 wheels of your vehicle. Be aware that irregular tire wear could also cause the need for additional alignment parts. Stop in or call us for our alignment special. Mention this ad and we'll inspect your vehicle and check your alignment starting at $69.95. Call Arvada West Auto at 303-422-1065. Stop by 11752 West 64th Avenue or visit us on the web at arvadawestautoandtruck.com.
At Napa, we're always trying to make the great parts we sell even better. From the bacteria-killing surface on our cabin air filters to our revolutionary new Adaptive One brakes. And every Napa part is covered by a warranty good at any of our 6,000 Napa Auto Parts stores. Yeah, maybe you don't get this at your average auto parts store, but we've spent the last 80 years making sure we were anything but average. Go to NapaOnline.com for a location nearest you. Napa, get the good stuff.
Let me tell you a little bit about Lone Tree Veterinarian Medical Center. Phone number is 303-708-8050. You can find them at LoneTreeVet.com. The owners, Nancy and Bill Moyle, Dr. Bill, I should say, they've been longtime listeners and supporters of Drive Radio. They appreciate so much all the information that we've given out over the years. And what they want to do is basically support Drive Radio to keep that going. So you know what? The best thing we can do is just give back to Lone Tree Veterinarian Medical Center. So go see them now. If you've got a pet, a cat, a dog, any type of pet they can take care of, the phone number is 303-708-8050. They're certified by the American Animal Hospital Association, and they recently earned their 3rd annual Gold Star rating with the Better Business Bureau. They're located at 8681 East Lincoln Avenue in Lone Tree. It's 1 block west of Yosemite on Lincoln Avenue. Go visit them today at LoneTreeVet.com. And when you call them, make sure you tell them that John Rush from Drive Radio sent you. John Rush, Drive Radio, KLZ 560. Dennis Brewster is also with me. And you just heard an ad there for Lone Tree Veterinarian Medical Center. And yes, they are great supporters of Drive Radio. And I would recommend taking your dog, your cat, any pet that you have, drop by and see them 7 days a week. They're really open every day. It varies a little bit depending upon holidays. But if you've got an emergency, they are there to take care of you. And please be sure you mention Drive Radio when you go in there. But great facility. Got a full tour of that several weeks ago. Scott just had some surgery done on his dog there. He just did a great testimonial for them last week. So yeah, anything you need pet-wise, they will take care of you. So how's that?
It's good. I don't have any pets, so.
No pets, huh?
No, not right now.
I have a dog.
We did, but no.
I have a dog, and depending upon what if she ever needs anything major, trust me, I'm going down to see I'm going to go down to see them because she's a family member. You know what else do I say? You know, my youngest son moves out, so we're now kind of these empty nesters now, and I think the dog's taken it harder than anybody else. She's been moping around. She has moped around for the last 2 weeks. It's ridiculous. But by the way, thanks to Dennis Brewster and Ray Seidel for filling in for me the weekend that my son got married. I appreciated that very much. I didn't get a chance last week with all of the activity we had on Drive Radio to do that. But thanks, guys, for doing that. Appreciate it very much.
You need a break sometimes, too.
It was a good day.
Go do it.
It was a great day. Really enjoyed it. It's always fun to have those events happen.
Oh, it is. It is. I saw the pictures. It was good.
It was really good. So, Robert in Arvada, you're up next.
Yeah, I got an air conditioning question for you.
Great. What can we do for you, sir?
I got an 01 Jeep and it's blowing warm air.
Okay, that's not good. Not on a day like today.
No. I put a gauge on it, and the gauge says it's full. When you run it with the compressor on, they said check that line and see if it gets hot. The door gets hot. Then they said check the door and pull the glove box out and check the door to see if it's working.
Yeah, so when the AC is running and the clutch is engaged, do you have one line hot, one line cold, or are they both hot?
They're one line hot and the other one's kind of cold.
Okay. Then you probably it could very well be that the AC is working. You just don't have something internal with a blend door working properly.
Yeah, because see, the doors, they shift the air around in certain ways that, it
and that's
misses
the door in the glove box?
Well, there's a bunch of doors back there.
Oh.
They're all up underneath the dash.
Yeah.
It sounds like the AC is working. So you get no cold air out of any vents at all?
No.
Nothing.
What do you get? Do you get warm air, or do you get just kind of lukewarm, or do you get outside temperature?
Lukewarm.
Is it outside temperature air?
Yeah, I would say that.
I think you have a blend door that's stuck.
It's probably not channeling it through the evaporator is what it's probably doing.
Correct.
And then that way the evaporator gets cold, and then the air gets shifted through to go around through there, and then
no matter what setting you change, whether you do recirculate air, nothing changes anything.
No.
Huh.
Yeah, I'd say you've got something in the. I mean, without looking at the vehicle, of course, I'm speculating. But if the clutch is running, one line's hot, one line's cold, your pressures look good, but nothing's coming out of the vents, you've got a vent problem inside a blend door problem inside the vehicle.
It could even be something as simple as a vacuum leak.
Okay.
Yeah.
Take it over to Larry's.
Yes, most definitely. Yeah. Yes, if you're in that area, by all means.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Thanks
They'll take care of it. You bet, Robert. Thank you very much. Appreciate the phone call. One line open, 303-477-5600. Drew in Littleton, you're next.
Good morning, gentlemen. How are you today?
Doing great. Thanks for calling, Drew.
Good. Hey, I heard on one of your shows recently that there are no longer small pickups available in the United States due to some chicken tax or something like that.
We had a listener that actually had called in during the week and was mentioning the chicken tax, and I did not get a chance to verify that. I had heard about that years ago, and I think that's correct. I haven't had time to actually research that, but I do think that there is something to do with that. I just haven't had time to research it. And part of it is the marketability of it also.
Okay, I was just wondering because I love my small 4-cylinder pickup, and I'll be wanting to replace it here in a year or two, and just wanted to get the nitty gritty to see if I had to go out of country to get a small pickup
Well, even if you did, you wouldn't be able to import it because unless it meets all of our unless it meets all of our EPA, safety, all of those standards, you can't import it anyways.
Really?
And that and by the way, and I did just look this up just because you reminded me of it. So there is a 25%, they call it a chicken tax. It's a tariff on potato starch, dextrin, brandy, and light trucks that was imposed in 1963 by the U.S. under Lyndon Johnson. So that was way before even a lot of the trucks that we've had come out over the years. So to blame the fact that we don't have little trucks in the country on that alone, I think is probably a stretch.
Okay. I just heard it got my curiosity piqued, and I thought I'd call and try and get a few more details.
It's kind of one of those things where, yes, at one point in time, it may have had a bigger impact, but in today's world, what I would tell you, just from even talking to some of the folks we've had directly, Randy from Toyota comes on with us on a regular basis. The reason why they moved away from the smaller Hilux pickup into what they've got now with the Tacoma is demand. Demand just pushed them in that direction because they build a smaller pickup worldwide, especially in Africa. They do build a smaller truck with actually diesel engine in it, but that they just don't see any marketability for that here in the U.S. So they just don't build it and push it over here.
Yeah, because consumer drives what they'll put out. Yeah,
right. Okay. Well, thanks for your time, gentlemen.
No, very great question, by the way. I'm glad you reminded me of that because I was going to look that up and I never got a chance to do it. So thanks.
Yeah, and if you think about it, you don't see a lot of little pickups coming out. I mean, you don't see any.
No,
and it's because of the price of the trucks right now. You could buy a full-size one for that probably the same price.
The caller that I had was talking about, we used to have the Chevy Love, we had the little Mazdas, we had the the B2000s, and blah blah blah, and all these different things that we used to have, and we don't have them anymore, quote unquote. This caller was saying because of the chicken tax, and while some of that may be true, I don't think I would attribute everything that we've got going on when it comes to little trucks to that.
The smallest truck I know of is the Frontier.
I believe you're right. I think that's because it's smaller than a Tacoma right now. Yeah, that's really pretty much it. There's really nothing else smaller. Now, is there a marketability of one today? I think
so.
there is. Now,
I think there is.
I would say that I don't think that the big automakers are looking at that as well as they should be, because I think they've done really, really well with the small transit vans that Ford has made. Chrysler now has one. They've done really well with those. Could they do the same with the smaller pickup? Especially for smaller, even like a Napa store where they're doing smaller deliveries and things like that. Would that truck work out? I think there's a market, but I'm not in charge of all of that.
So there's no Ford Ranger?
No, Ranger's been gone for a while now. Yeah. And it doesn't sound like there's any plans to bring it back. All right, line's open. 303-477-5600. Jerry, you're up next. What's going on?
Hey, good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning, sir.
I've got a 07 Chrysler Town & Country that I've basically converted into a cargo van. Is there anything I can do with the rear suspension to stiffen that up to carry more weight, like maybe some overload shocks? Or
what year? Give me exact year and model. It is
07 Chrysler Town & Country.
Okay, 07 Town & Country.
Yeah, 3.3 liter.
I don't think that you can find airbags or anything along those lines for that vehicle. Whatever you do, it's going to have to be custom.
Yeah.
I know on my 99, I was able to buy air shocks for it just to keep the body off.
You could probably buy air shocks for it, I'd imagine, because they seem to make a shock for everything.
Yeah, the problem with air shocks, this is what I used to go through when I had my four-wheel drive stores for all those years.
Yeah, I don't like them.
Yeah, the problem is you're relying on the mount of the shock absorber itself to be the weight-carrying portion, which is the weakest link in the system when you do that.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the downside.
Now, what I've seen all these minivans converted into these handicap accessible vans. And the back end seems to stand up quite high.
And they're doing some different things on those to what am I trying to say? To do airbags or whatever. Now here's the thing. I'd have to go look this up. I'm trying to look it up as we speak to see if there actually is an airbag kit made for your vehicle, because if there is, that would be the answer to it. And I'm getting some responses on certain websites. I just haven't had a chance to go to Airlift's website and actually plug in everything. So if you go to Airlift, hang on, let me get you the website for that, and you can look it up yourself. So I think it's Let me make sure I get you the right URL here in a second. Airlift suspension. It is going to be, and you have to just plug all your stuff in. Okay, it is airliftcompany.com.
Okay,
so if you go there, plug in all of your information. Now, if they make a airbag kit for it, there's your answer.
Oh, right on. Because I noticed I changed the rear brakes on it here last week, and my rubber stops have been hitting the leaf.
Got it.
Yeah.
And if they've been doing that, that means you've got too much that you're hauling, and you probably need to make a and
if that's too expensive, you could get a little bit heavier leaves, can't you? On that, John, I can't remember.
That's what I'm wondering, because it's only got that one single leaf.
But I know adding a leaf isn't that expensive.
No, it's not, and it's just a matter of finding the right leaf to fit in it. Now, I did just go to while we were talking, I did go to Airlift's website, and they do not show an airbag for that, but that doesn't mean there's not one made. There's other companies that do air suspension, Firestone, and some others. I would just do some looking around and see if anybody's got a rear airbag kit. Or, if you want to, send me an email and I can do some checking for you and see what I can find out for you. I have no problem doing that.
Well, where are you at, Jerry? Where do you?
Greeley.
Okay. I was going to say, if you're in Parker, swing by and I'll
send me
take
an
a look
email this week, Jerry, and I'll do some looking and see if I can find somebody that makes an air suspension kit for that.
Okay.
If they do, that'd be your best bet.
Okay.
Okay. Appreciate it very much. Thanks for the phone call. We've got Eric and Tom both coming up next. An ignition coil is overheating and a comment on the chicken tax. So we'll talk to both of those as soon as we come back. Don't go away. This is Drive Radio. One line open, 303-477-5600. I'm your host, John Rush, with Dennis Brewster right here on KLZ 560.
At Extreme Auto, we're committed to providing the highest level of service possible to our customers. Our highly trained technicians are ASE certified and are dedicated to providing you with world-class service. We have years of experience working on both domestic and import vehicles of all makes and models, and will work with you to find cost-effective repair and maintenance alternatives. We don't have hidden fees, and we don't do unnecessary repairs. Serving Parker and the surrounding areas, come and see us, the professionals at Extreme Auto, and rest easy knowing you'll get quality work done for a fair price. Our promise to you: extreme service, extreme value, extreme satisfaction. Call us to schedule your appointment today.
This is Red Merrill for Phoenix Weaponry. Phoenix Weaponry is a weapon manufacturer that services the firearm enthusiast. From precision ARs to suppressors, Phoenix Weaponry can make your dreams come true. Phoenix Weaponry is a full-service gun shop that offers gunsmithing, coating, and modifications to your own weapon. Phoenix Weaponry, family-owned and operated right here in Colorado. If you can dream it, Phoenix Weaponry can build it. Call today, 720-340-2496. Again, that's 720-340-2496. Or visit their website, phoenixweaponry.com. Mention Sportsman of Colorado and receive 10% off your custom-built weapon.
Ever try to buy an air filter and get lost in catalogs and vehicle descriptions? Well, K&N, the inventor of reusable cotton filters, has got the answer to the mess. Just visit knfilters.com and enter your vehicle identification number off your dashboard or car registration, and K&N will show you the filter that fits your car. It's never been easier to buy a K&N, the filter that helps your car run better.
Gino's Auto Service in Littleton is your go-to service shop for all your car care needs. After 32 years in business, Gino's has recently expanded, and to celebrate is offering a $69.95 alignment special with the mention of this ad. By getting your vehicle aligned, you're ensuring proper wear and longer life for your tires. Gino's is AAA approved and offers courtesy vehicles while your car is being serviced. They are conveniently located at Bowles and Platte Canyon in Littleton. Visit them online at Gino'sAutoservice.com.
At Napa Auto Parts, we've been the most trusted name in auto parts for over 80 years. Probably because we've never stopped looking for ways to make the great parts we sell even better. It's a commitment to quality you'll find in every one of our 310,000 parts. From the bacteria-killing surface on our cabin air filters, to the patented damping mechanism on our drive-align belt tensioners, to our revolutionary new Adaptive One brakes. And Napa parts are covered by a warranty that's good at any of our 6,000 Napa Auto Parts stores nationwide. Yeah, maybe you don't get this at your average auto parts store, but at Napa, we've spent the last 80 years making sure we were anything but average. To find the Napa Auto Parts store nearest you, go to NapaOnline.com. Napa, get the good stuff.
With over 125 locations in Colorado, southern Wyoming, and western Nebraska, there's only one place to get the good stuff: Napa Auto Parts.
How stressful. You hear a noise, see a fluid leak, feel something funny, a little light comes on your dash, or your car totally breaks down, and you have no idea what it means, what to do, or how to fix it. With how much we depend on our cars to go about our daily lives, you'd think they'd teach us this stuff in school. Luckily for you, you have us. At Community Auto, we're serious about what we do, and we're darn good at it. Having served Fort Collins and northern Colorado for over 20 years, our family-owned and operated AAA-approved shop has family that extends far beyond our garage doors.
At Community Auto, we put the emphasis on care, not just auto repair. Ladies, ever felt intimidated going into an auto repair shop? Scared you'll be taken advantage of? Our female staff is friendly, knowledgeable, and will thoroughly explain and educate you on what's going on with your car. You'll be in the know and in turn be taken care of. Because at Community Auto, we know that a happy car will get you far.
All right, John Rush, Drive Radio, KLZ 560. Our phone number 303-477-5600. Lines are full. As soon as somebody calls, we'll get you right on the air. Let's go to Eric, who is next in Nevada. Eric, welcome.
Hi, guys. I got a 55 Ford, but it's got a 68 Fairlane engine in it. If you leave the key on, the ignition coil just gets super hot, and eventually I've like melted one. So I don't know, I have crisscross wires or what.
Well, what's the rest of the ignition system like? Is it all points, or does it have electronic ignition?
It's got electronic ignition, and there's one wire from each side of the coil going to the distributor.
Okay.
And when I changed that out, I took out the ballast resistor.
Yeah, it needs a ballast resistor. That was my next question. That's why it's doing it. It needs a ballast resistor.
Okay.
And the way that works is you're supposed to have a ballast resistor in it when it's in the key on running position, and then it goes to full 12 volts. So you bypass the resistor in the start mode. When the actual starter is cranking, it gets a full 12 volts to add a little juice to actually get the vehicle started. That's how they worked back in the day. And I would probably try to wire it. Well, I wouldn't try to. I would wire it exactly that way. So that's exactly what happens. So you've got about 8 volts to it. Normally, when you go to start it, you get your full 12.5 to 13 volts.
Because you want a stronger spark.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it goes in the circuit between the coil and the ignition, or the coil.
The ballast resistor goes in between the coil and the ignition switch, so that when you turn the key on, it's resisted down. But then you have to run a separate wire to the coil to up that voltage when you're in the crank position.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, make sense?
Yep, I think
That's
so.
why it's burning the coil out.
Okay, very
I'm
good.
surprised it's not burning the points up, because typically it burned the points up first.
You might look at them.
Yeah,
It might be spiked.
double check the points, because they're probably going to be pitted.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
And they'll need change too. And you do that, you do the condenser too. So you do points, condenser, coil, and get the ballast resistor fixed.
Okay.
Okay.
Easy stuff.
All right, man. Appreciate it very much. Yeah, that's old time stuff.
Yeah, that's lovely.
Now, all you young guys out there listening, you have no idea what we just talked about.
Right. And you know what was cool? It used to come in for Datsuns when I used to work on them. They came in a plastic case.
Mm-hmm.
They give you the points, the
everything was
condense,
in one.
everything.
That's right.
Everything.
In the old days with the Buicks,
plugs.
we call them tune kits.
Yeah.
You'd buy a tune kit, and it had everything you needed, including spark plugs.
Right.
And plugs, condenser, points, the whole 9 yards. Was called a tune kit.
Yeah. See, and Nissan was really cool. I still had the plastic cases that they came in.
It was really cool. Everything was in a box, and off you went. So yeah, tune kits.
Yeah.
Don't make those
You
anymore.
had the dwell meter.
That's right.
Now we're talking.
303-477-5600, one line open. Tom, what's going on with the chicken tax? Fill us in.
Well, years ago, we used to have a guy in New Jersey by the name of Purdue that really automated the chicken industry, and it was copied quite a few places. Anyway, in the early 60s, Europe wanted to make their own chicken industry, and so they put a tariff on exporting chickens over there. So Johnson got upset, and he ordered various tariffs, and one of them was on pickup trucks.
Right.
And they were small all the way up to, I think, 3/4 ton.
That's correct. That's exactly right. Yep.
And the rumor is that Mercedes and Volvo were going to export here. Well, they never did because of this tariff. And Japan did some when they could overcome the tariff with their cheaper wages. But later on, when they really got involved with American trucks, they build them here.
Yeah, they built plants here to get around the tariff. Exactly.
Smyrna, Tennessee.
Exactly. Now, that still doesn't, the caller that I had during the week on my weekly show, his comment was this tariff is the reason why we don't have any small pickups in the United States any longer, like the Chevy Love and so on. What he failed to mention was, even with those tariffs in place, we still had the Chevy Love and other things. They did some reconfiguring of the rules behind the tariff. And that's where some of that stuff got changed, because what they were doing was shipping in cabin chassis trucks, putting beds on here, things like that to get around the tariff or lower the tariff if it was. But let me tell you what, if those manufacturers felt like, including Ford, GM, and Chrysler, and so on, and even Toyota now with big operations here in the U.S., and Nissan with big operations, and Subaru, and I go down the list. They've all got operations here in the U.S., not just because of the tariff. I mean, the Camry, for example, that had nothing to do with any tariffs. Toyota builds that thing here. It's got probably more U.S. components built on it here in America than probably what General Motors and Ford is doing. So my point is, did the tariff ruin the light truck market? Well, I think you can look around the road today and determine that that's not true.
No. And the other thing is the Japanese and the Germans, their wages went up pretty much comparable to ours now. So there isn't that big of an advantage anymore to building them overseas.
I agree with you very much. You're right on, Tom. That's a great story, by the way. Appreciate it.
Okay.
Thanks very much. Appreciate the feedback. One line open, 303 477 5600. As many times as I say that phone number in a day, you'd think I would never, ever mess that up, but your tongue gets tied sometimes. So, Wally, you're next.
Hey, the guy that called about the minivan, why don't you just send him over to Denver Spring on Brighton Avenue?
Yeah, they may be able to make some springs for that also.
They can either make new heavy-duty coils to go in there that are custom, or...
Does it? But I don't think it's got coils. I think it's a leaf spring.
It's a leaf spring.
If it is a leaf spring, then they can either add some leaves or they'll do a whole new custom one that would fit what he
I'm
needs.
thinking he's going to have to just get a custom, because I think that's a monoleaf system, which means you can't really put an add leaf in it. So I think you're going to have to make a spring pack for it.
But Denver Spring, they knock that out in a day for him.
Yeah, no, and I've used them over the years.
Yeah,
so.
I have too.
Midwest is another one. Denver or Midwest Spring, either one can do it.
So,
and I'm going to do some looking around, because if there is an airbag option for that, that's still an easiest way to do that.
Okay.
And cheapest, if it's made. Now, I don't know. I'm going to have to do some digging around and see if there's one made or not.
Well, I've used Denver Spring in the past, and they've always
I've used them.
Been Johnny on the spot getting stuff done.
Yeah,
so.
when I had the shops, we used them for
I use them all the time.
We had springs made all the time for stuff.
Yep. I just did it for my plow truck this year.
Good stuff. Yeah, appreciate it, Wally. Thanks so much for the phone call. Yeah, appreciate it very much. Let's go to Jay, who's next. We have some lines open, 303-477-5600. Jay, what's happening today?
Nothing much.
Well, must be a lot going on in Greeley. You're like our fourth call from Greeley today.
Well, I just have a question on the weight oil, the weight in oil.
Okay.
My pickup says it has needs a 530, and what's the difference between like 530 and 1030, and would it hurt to mix them? Or
Yes.
Yeah, don't mix.
Yeah, don't mix. It does hurt. That's the viscosity of the oil, and it's very specific now on modern engines, what they require when it comes to the weight of the oil. And if an engine says that it needs, 1030, then you got to run 1030. If it says it needs 530, we've got some now that are going to say 030 in the very near future. So yeah, you need to really make sure you're being specific with what the engine says it needs.
Okay, so that's the difference between 5 and 1030.
5 and 1030 is the cold viscosity weight. So when the oil is cold is what that means. But what that means is you're probably driving a late model truck that's requiring the 530, because that's what they've set for clearances and so on, and that's what it's. And they're running different components when it comes to rings and things like that, even inside of the engine itself, and that's where the different viscosities are set up for the individual engines that are being manufactured today.
Yeah, I thought you could change kind of the weights and stuff on whether you're doing summer driving or winter driving.
Not in some cases, yes, only if the owner's manual says you can. Otherwise, no, you cannot.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Appreciate that. Let's squeeze one more call in before the top of the hour. We've got a couple lines open, 303-477-5600. Vince in Westminster, what's going on?
Hi, I've got a 2002 Subaru WRX, and it's been showing the code 0301 and 0302 to misfire on cylinder 1 and 2. So I started doing the obvious things. I replaced the plugs, which needed replacement anyway, and then that didn't work. And then I replaced the little coils on it, and that didn't work. And then I replaced the injectors, and that didn't work. So now I'm trying to figure out where I should go next. Could the camshaft position sensor or crank position sensor cause that?
Yeah, but hang on a second. Now, when does this do this?
Oh, it's just kind of all the time now. I mean, when I started up.
Okay, so hey, let's do this. This is going to be a longer phone call. Vince, can you hang on over the news? I'm sorry, we got a hard break coming up. I can't get out of. So hold tight. And speaking of WRXs, I'm driving a brand new 2015 WRX, and Vince, those are machines.
Yeah.
Those stinking things. I mean, that is one of the most fun cars to drive. The one I've got this week is a sedan. Yeah, if you really want to drive a fun car, go test drive a WRX with a 6-speed transmission, and it is a ball. I have loved driving this car. So Vince, great car. We'll be back to talk to you and finish up with that. Lines are full, so just wait till you come back. We'll have some lines open up.
Wait till we come back.
That's right. Wait till we come back. We'll have some lines open up as soon as we come back. 303-477-5600. But you're listening to Dennis Brewster from Extreme, John Rush, Drive Radio, hour number 2 coming next. Don't go away, because we'll be right back right here on KLZ 560.
Still haven't had enough? Go to drive-radio.com. Email your questions and comments. Download previous programs and find lots of useful information, including your nearest Colorado Select Auto Care Center. That's drive-radio.com. Thanks for listening to Drive Radio, sponsored by the member shops of Colorado Select Auto Care Centers on KLZ 560.
Drive Radio is a presentation of Colorado Select Auto Care Centers. The independently owned and operated shops of Colorado Select hold each other accountable for their highest standards of technical expertise, honesty, and professionalism. They all understand that choosing a mechanic is risky business. So Colorado Select was created by this exclusive group of like-minded professionals who are dedicated to raising the level of consumer confidence in Colorado's auto repair industry. Schedule your next oil change at any of the Colorado Select Auto Care Centers heard on Drive Radio, and you'll immediately see the difference. For the complete list of all the member shops in the state, visit drive-radio.com.
Well, it's that time of year again where we're all getting prepared for the upcoming hunting season. Hi, this is Scott Watley with Sportsman of Colorado. Tune in each week and we'll bring you local experts in archery, muzzleloading, and rifle hunting. Looking for a place to hunt? We've got you covered. Want to book a trophy deer or elk hunt with a reliable outfitter? We can help. For the anglers, we'll give you a fishing report each week. If you like the outdoors, you'll love Sportsman of Colorado, Saturdays at 1 p.m. right here on KLZ 560.
Hey, it's Zach Pugh from Rush to Reason. Should the Bible be taught in schools? Join me and new morning show co-host Dan Muir as we discuss on the next Rush to Reason in the evening rush hour from 3 to 6 p.m. right here on KLZ 560.
KLZ AM 560, KLZ HD Denver. Listen live at KLZ560radio.com. KLZ 560, a Crawford Broadcasting God and Country station.
This is the Blaze Radio News. I'm Brad James. The Fox News Network is expecting a huge TV viewing audience for the first GOP debate on August 6th. The question is, will candidates go after the GOP frontrunner?
New Jersey Governor Chris Christie not talking about the Trump factor and how he'll deal with the billionaire.
It depends on what anybody says on that stage that night as to how I'm going to react and what I'm going to do. But in the end, what I'm going to talk about is what my vision for the future of America is and what I'll do as president of the United States. And here's the thing that people know about me that they don't know about Donald or about anybody else. When I say I'm going to do something, I do it.
Ohio Governor and presidential candidate John Kasich saying he's not targeting anybody.
I think I need to let people know in the short time that I would have if I make it what I'm for and who I am.
But Republican political consultant Karl Rove saying having Trump in the race makes the debate more fun.
This is going to be one exciting election, and he's part of the excitement and part of the entertainment.
All three men appearing on Fox News Channel.
The Blaze Radio's Kay Long reporting. Reaction from conservatives on the latest release of Hillary Clinton's emails. The Blaze Radio's Tom Peace with this report.
I haven't seen anything that's damning, but then again, we shouldn't expect to see anything that is damning. She got to delete all of the emails that she didn't want to go out to the public before she ever handed over any emails.
That's Jonah Goldberg of National Review. The State Department releasing the third batch of Clinton emails, and much like the previous releases, they reclassified dozens of them, many of the emails heavily redacted. As for finding a smoking gun, Goldberg says,
the same woman who was in charge of vetting all of the deleted emails from the IRS, Kate Duvall, is now in charge of the State Department process for vetting emails. So when you hear this drumbeat about how there are no smoking guns, you shouldn't expect a smoking gun after this has been so thoroughly laundered and vetted.
Goldberg, part of the all-star panel on Fox News Special Report.
This is news on the Blaze Radio Network. Truth lives here.
The Blaze Radio News on KLZ 560 Denver.
John Rush during the afternoon rush, weekdays from 3 to 6 on KLZ 560.
It's a mighty fancy automobile. Oh, she's a real road king, all right. 0 to 60 in 7.5. She'll do a quarter of a mile, 13.40. 390 horsepower. 500 foot-pounds of torque. Whatever that is. Performance and image, that's what it's all about.
There's no such thing as a stupid question. This is Drive Radio. All of your automotive questions are just one phone call away. 303-477-5600. Drive Radio is made possible by the member shops of Colorado Select Auto Care Centers. To find one near you, go to drive-radio.com. Now, Drive Radio on KLZ 560.
And it is Drive Radio. John Rush, your host, KLZ 560, 11:04 in the afternoon. And let's continue on with Vince. We're talking to him about his WRX here at the very end of the last segment, and had to go to a news break real quick. So, Vince, are you still with us?
Yeah.
All right.
I'm here.
So Dennis, go ahead. Fire away.
Yeah. Now, it happens all the time, you saying?
Yeah, it's constant now. I mean, for a while, it was just when it was cold, and then
Right.
you warm up and
There
start
you go.
acting better. But
When it was cold, I think what you have is and this is what you'd have to do. I would shut the car off at night, take out your plugs, and see if it fills up with coolant. I think what you might have is a coolant leak from your head gaskets. And I think what's happening is it's fouling out the plugs. Maybe pull the plugs out and look and see, because we just had one a couple of weeks ago that we were having a hard time finding an engine miss, and it was every once in a while. We wound up finding that it had a head gasket and the water was leaking in there. And it was mostly cold. It started when it was cold, and then as it warmed up, it got a little worse each time. It started cold. The engine mist was always cold, and then eventually it became all the time.
Okay.
And that's a 2002. That means it's the head gaskets. We've done a lot of head gaskets in Subarus, and that's 13 years old on those head gaskets.
Gotcha. Okay, well, that'll point me in one direction. We'll take a look at that.
All right, Vince. All right. Appreciate it very much. Thanks for the phone call. All right. We've got a special guest. I promote him during the week. Walt Brooker is joining us. He's got a book that he's written, Roadside Survival, Low-Tech Solutions to Automotive Breakdowns, or Automobile Breakdowns, I should say. You can find the book on Amazon. So, Walt, welcome. How you doing today?
Hey, John, good to be here.
Hey, great to hear from you. I had you on our Rush to Reason show during the day a few weeks ago, and so I wanted to have you back on Drive Radio. You've got some great things I think we could share here. So first off, tell folks a little bit of your history and how you got into helping people on the side of the road.
Well, I'm a retired Army Lieutenant Colonel, Vietnam veteran, West Point grad. Years ago, I had a lady with a raised hood, and she needed a jump, so I gave her a jump start. And it struck me two things. Number one was how great and relieved she was afterwards, being back on the road. And number two was how good it made me feel. So I began looking for cars in distress, and quickly found out that they break down for reasons besides just needing a jump. So I began to improve my repertoire of skills and equipment over time, and where I was getting pretty good at it. And I figured I needed to share my good luck with and my knowledge with the public. So this book is my best shot at reaching those 200 million drivers out there.
Awesome.
Who are riding around and just hoping it won't break down.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. So, you're hearing from somebody that really, from Walt's side of the fence, who was not a technician, didn't get into this to, on the money-making side of the fence, if you would. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but a lot of us have made money over the years fixing cars and so on. Walt's, getting into it for a totally different reason. Really, mainly, Walt, just to help people on the side of the road, give them some tips and tricks on what they can do to avoid breaking down in the first place. But also on top of that, and I've read most of your book, you've got some great, tips and tricks in there as to what to carry with you on a pretty routine basis, don't you?
I sure do.
Yeah, and it's a great book. So, and I can't remember. I don't have your book in front of me right now, Walt. How many chapters? I can't remember.
Oh, I think there's about 10 chapters total, 10 or 11 chapters total. And the biggest chapter by far is called tire-related issues, because 3/4 of the folks that I stopped for have got a tire issue.
Yep. No, and that's exactly right. So, some of the things I know you go through, and I'm doing this from memory when we did our last interview, telephone numbers, making sure you've got all the right numbers in your phone, to make sure that if you do have a problem, who do you call, when do you call, all of that. Safety, you and I talked when you were on about, and I talk about this a lot on Drive Radio, if you do have a tire problem, let's use that one for an example. You've got to make sure you're pulling off the road in a safe area. don't just pull over because you know you've got a tire problem. In other words, if you're in the middle of an 80 mile an hour speed zone, which people drive that fast, that's probably not the best spot to change a tire, is it?
Well, not on the road, that's for sure. I've changed many a tire on the shoulder of a highway going that fast. But again, you got to find a safe place on the shoulder.
Right.
A lot of bridges don't have a shoulder, so if you're on the bridge when it blows out, you got to keep on going until you get off the bridge and find a nice wide shoulder that's safe to pull onto.
Bridges, construction zones, areas where they may have pushed as many lanes as possible in it, and the shoulders very, very small. Those are areas where, and Walt, I know you would agree, those are the areas where it doesn't even matter if you ruin a wheel, you get out of those areas.
Oh yeah, nothing trumps losing a life or getting injured.
Amen.
The tire is expendable, and actually the rim is also, although you don't want to do that, but
no, but it is. At the end of the day, it is. And here's the deal: if it's a really, really expensive rim, well, you know what? Depending upon your deductible on your insurance, you know what? You can file a claim and go that route. And at the end of the day, Walt, that's still cheaper than losing a life.
Oh, for sure. And when you buy your new tires, if you buy a warranty for tire failures, you get that tire back for free. I did that myself about a month ago.
Good point. Yeah, that's a great idea. So other issues that you come up with is also, I'm guessing, people running out of gas?
Oh, yeah. Well, the other 25% is a combination of running out of gas. The engine overheats.
Okay.
The engine just cuts off and will not restart, usually due to a electrical issue like a dead battery or a loose battery clamp.
Got it.
Sometimes the alternator is gone, so the battery drains out, and there you are. Or you're locked out of your vehicle. Those are that plus the 75% on tires are the kind of people that I encounter out there.
Yeah, and locking out of a vehicle is also another big one. And with the late model vehicles we've got today, that's getting to be more and more challenging all the time, because even if you're locked out and you can find your way in, depending upon the vehicle, you still may not get it fired up, started, because the alarm system a lot of the late model cars have. So that's one of those things we recommend all the time. I don't know if this is in your book, but you need, as soon as you get the vehicle, even if you've got 2 key fobs and 2 keys, get a third one and put it away someplace safe in your house.
I recommend keeping a good key in your car someplace. Stash it, either the valet key, which will operate the ignition, or get another key with a chip in it, and stash that in your car someplace. But my solution to getting locked out of your car is to prevent getting locked out by stashing a dumb key with no transponder in it. It costs about $8 or $10 at your dealer, in a magnetic box stuck to the bottom of your car.
Yeah. Hi, and hidden away where nobody knows where it's at. Yep, great. Those are great advice, by the way. And Walt, where can people find your book?
They can find the book at my website is roadsidesurvival.com.
Okay.
Or they can go to Amazon and order right there. Look for the title Roadside Survival, Low-Tech Solutions to Automobile Breakdowns. You can also order a copy from Barnes & Noble online.
Awesome. That's very good. Walt, I appreciate you. That's only like $12 or $13, right, Walt?
Retail is about $14 plus shipping.
Got it. Okay, so there you go. So under $20, great buy, worth having. It would make a great gift even for people that especially some new drivers. I would recommend, if you've got some young drivers coming up in the family, be a great gift to give them. Again, you can find it at Amazon. Roadside Survival, Low-Tech Solutions to Automobile Breakdowns. It's Walt Brinker, or Brinker, I should say, Brinker, Walt Brinker. He's the author. And Walt, man, thank you so much for joining us today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, John. I appreciate that. Have me on.
You bet. I really appreciate it. All right, let's go to our next caller. We've got some lines open, 303-477-5600. Randy, you got a couple of questions. Fire away.
Yes, sir. I've been using the Toyota Red Long Life antifreeze for years in my Toyota, and I think it's a great product, but I know Toyota doesn't make that themselves, and I was wondering if you might know who makes it for them, and could I buy it under the manufacturer's brand instead of paying the high Toyota prices?
I do not know who makes the fluids for Toyota, and it may even be, and most likely is, several vendors making several of the fluids that they actually, in other words, they could have a vendor doing coolant, a vendor making oil, a vendor doing gear oil. I mean, it's doubtful it's all one and the same. It could be, but I doubt it. Now, if somebody out there is listening, maybe Randy, if you're listening and you're a faithful listener, Randy from Toyota, if you're listening and you know the answer to that, let me know. But I've never been privy to that, Randy, so I don't know who does.
Well, I found some stuff at Napa. It's called the Z-Rex Asian blend or something like that, and it's a long life, no silicate, and it's reddish color. So I've been using that in my work vehicle, but my personal vehicle, I buy the Toyota brand. But I just don't know.
Well, and there are aftermarket companies, well, I shouldn't say aftermarket. There's coolant manufacturing companies because they're all, even though that's coming out of a Toyota bottle, it's a third-party provider for Toyota that's actually making that, which is what we've been talking about. There are several coolant companies that make the proper coolant for the Toyota. I mean, for example, those of us in the shops, we do not buy coolant from Toyota. We just use the correct coolant that's coming from our suppliers, be it whoever, oil company, Napa, what have you. So having to go back to Toyota to buy that fluid for your own personal vehicle, I wouldn't. You don't need to.
It's pretty pricey.
Yeah, you don't need to. And that's nothing against Toyota. You just don't need to spend the money.
Right. That's my point. I was wondering if I could buy it without the Toyota name on it.
And you know why it's more money at the dealer, correct? Do you?
Well,
If you don't, I'll explain it. But I'm sure you do, right?
Well, there's so many more hands that touch
right.
it, and the dealer and the owner and the manager. They all got to get paid.
There's more layers coming through what you're doing than there is in us in the shops, for example, buying directly from a manufacturer of oil products, coming to us, going straight to you. I mean, if you think about it, we're two-stepping it to you. The dealer's probably got, I'm not exaggerating, from the manufacturer to so from the manufacturer of the coolant to Toyota, to Toyota's warehouse, to the warehouse, to the dealer to you. That's how many layers there are there.
Oh, yeah, there's probably 30 people that got to get a percentage off of that retail sale.
Because it goes to the parts department and then to the service department.
Correct.
So they mark it up from there. Yeah.
Yeah. When I first retired, my first job after I retired was working for Toyota Parts.
So you know. And I did that for everybody else's benefit, just to know why that, why it's higher. And again, it's not a knock against Toyota. It's just there's more layers there that they're having to cover for to get you that product where, no offense, but whether it's Napa or us in the shops, we're two-stepping that. It's coming directly from the manufacturer to us to you.
Yep. Yeah, it's just how many people it has to go through before it's in your hands.
That's exactly right.
The other thing I wanted to share with you is I accidentally conducted an experiment without knowing it a while back. I've been really, really busy this summer, which is a good thing, but it was not a good thing necessarily for my car. I've been working like 80 hours and stuff like that. Well, I thought that I had been keeping up with my routine, regular 3,000 to 3,500 mile oil changes. And my car started running really, really sluggish and didn't have the pep and everything, and I didn't know what was going on. But, 256,000 miles, I thought, well, it's just getting old. So anyway, I went back and checked my notebook, and I had actually missed an oil change that I thought I did because I was so busy. So I had like almost 5,000 miles on an oil change. And I thought, oh, man, okay. So I changed that right away. And you know what? It went right back to its regular performance level. So for people that don't believe in the 3,000 to 3,500 mile oil changes, I'm talking conventional oil, not synthetic. I accidentally conducted an experiment that proved it beyond any doubt in my mind that it does make a difference.
Good point. Good stuff. Appreciate that, Randy. Great.
Thanks.
Really good. Appreciate that very much. All right, we're going to take a quick break. I had an email caller I had a listener email us. Let me say that the correct way. Mike, appreciate this tip for the person driving the WRX earlier. I think that was Vince. He also said he owned one of those, had roughly the same problem, ended up being a weak fuel pump.
Oh, it could be.
So that could also be. So, Mike, thank you for sending that in. Vince, if you're listening, yeah, I would go both directions. Check what Dennis said in regards to head gaskets, and also make sure you've got good fuel delivery, because either one of those could cause a problem. So let's do this. Let's take a quick break. We've got one line open, 303-477-5600. Dell's got a comment on the magnetic boxes for the keys, and Jack in Fort Collins, he's got a question on his tractor. We'll be right back. Don't go away. John Rush, Dennis Brewster, Drive Radio.
Reliability. It's what every driver wants from their vehicle. Regardless of make or model, you want your vehicle to take you where you need to go. Reliability is exactly what Colorado Select Auto Care Centers offer. They've set the standard for excellence in automotive repair and maintenance. Each Colorado Select member currently offers Napa's Peace of Mind warranty, but are now also offering an extended 2-year or 24,000-mile warranty on repair work. You won't find this offer anywhere else. To find a Colorado Select Auto Care Center near you, log on to drive-radio.com or call 303-546-6272.
Napa know-how. PB Blaster Penetrating Catalyst is like magic on stubborn bolts. And this month at Napa Auto Parts, you can get PB Blaster Penetrating Catalyst for just 99 cents after a $3 mail-in rebate. And don't forget Napa Oil Change Combo with 5 quarts of Napa Conventional Oil Change plus a Napa Silver Oil Filter is just $17.99 every day at Napa. Conquer the job like you conquered life with Napa Know-How.
Napa Know-How!
When your car starts making noises you've never heard before.
First thing that goes through your mind is, uh-oh. The next thing is, geez, now where am I going to take this? Do you have a mechanic? Do you trust a mechanic? Do you know where to go? Who do you rely on?
Ed Beery is the owner of Tilden Total Car Care in Englewood and Aurora.
We want to be that mechanic for you. We want to be the folks that you know you can bring your vehicle to and trust that we will do what is right for you and your car every single time you bring it in.
Tilden Total Car Care employs the best ASE certified master technicians. They're AAA approved, BBB approved.
We've got a lot of letters. We got the alphabet running after us because that's one of the things that you have to do to help the folks that don't know us yet know that we're actually the good guys in the business.
You found quality car care you can trust at Tilden Total Car Care, where life is about helping as many people as you can as fast as you can.
Tilden Total Car Care, 2 locations, Federal at Bellevue or 6th and Peoria.
Arvada West Auto wants to help you get the best fuel mileage you can. Approximately 3.5 million gallons of gas a day are lost due to underinflated tires. There are many things we can do to help you boost your fuel mileage, and most of it comes down to basic maintenance. No one likes to spend money on unplanned repairs. Let Arvada West Auto and Truck do what they do best. Keep your vehicles running at peak performance. From tune-ups to wheel alignments, they've got you covered with a 3-year or 36,000-mile warranty on most cars. On the web, visit ArvadaWestAutoandTruck.com or call 303-422-1065. Arvada West Auto and Truck, where every question is important. Located on West 64th Avenue between Ward Road and Sims.
Top auto manufacturers admit that today's high-tech engines on average can use a quart of oil every 1,000 miles. Why? To meet the government's fuel economy mandates, they use the faster-moving low-tension piston rings that can clog quickly, reducing power, causing poor fuel economy. The Performance Oil Service from BG Products cleans piston rings and restores the fuel system. And it's backed up with lifetime protection for the engine. Ask your service advisor about the BG Performance Oil Service or go to bgfindashop.com. That's bgfindashop.com.
Word of mouth is a great way to find professional references, but choosing an auto technician, it's one of those exceptions, unless that referral comes from another auto technician. Think about that for a moment. A referral from one competitor to another. Every Colorado Select Auto Care Center offers the industry-leading 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty on every repair. The dealerships can't even match that. Find a Colorado Select Master Technician near you at coloradoselect.org.
All right, John Rush, Drive Radio, KLZ 560, along with Dennis Brewster. Lines are full. As soon as somebody drops off, call us, and we'll get you right on the air, 303-477-5600. Following Drive Radio today, it is Sportsman of Colorado, and Scott Watley is actually not going to be here today, but Willie Schmidt and Chris Nowak, they're going to host the show today, and they actually do a TV show called Pure Hunting. So you're going to want to listen up, and TV guys do really, really well on the radio, so they have a face for TV, not radio.
Right.
Like us.
Yeah. We have the face for radio. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Let's go to Jack. He's next. Jack, welcome. What's going on?
Hi. I got a 9N Ford tractor, which is, circa 1940. Yep. And on the points, the pivoting half of the points, the fiber block seems to burn up where the point is and it breaks. And this has happened 3 times in the last year and a half or so.
Okay.
And I was wondering what you might think might be caused. The tractor doesn't get run an awful lot.
Are you lubricating there used to be you'd put a little bit of dielectric grease right underneath that nylon. There's like a little pocket right there. You'd put some grease in there. Are you greasing that up good?
Yep. As a matter of fact, the points that I bought from Napa came a couple years or a year and a half ago. They came with a packet of grease.
Is the distributor shaft itself and the lobes, are they all nice and smooth? There's no burrs or pits or rust marks or anything like that? That's all good?
And you're changing the condenser when you do it too?
No.
No?
Well, I did. I think probably after the second set of points, but I haven't changed it since.
But the points themselves aren't burning up. It's just the nylon block is getting hot and
No,
burning up.
it's the fiber block, that the point, and the movable point, that where that point is fastened onto the fiber block, it just seems to overheat and burn. It splits.
What's your voltage like going to the coil when it's running?
I got a 12-volt system on it, and it's 11 and change.
It's too much.
Yeah, wasn't
that has to be ballast resisted back down to around 7-8 volts.
Wasn't that originally a 6-volt system?
Yeah.
Yeah, a negative. It was a positive ground system originally. That's what I have. I have a 9N tractor too, Ford, 1949, and
it should have a resistor in it to get the voltage back down. Especially if you've gone to 12 volts, it'll have to be resisted down.
Okay, and one other comment. I had a rather unpleasant experience at one of your Napa stores yesterday because I went to get the replacement points, and I went into the store and I said, I'd like a set of points for a 9N Ford tractor. So the woman got out the big thick book, and she starts pages. Well, let me know when a picture here looks like what you got, and we'll see if we got something that we can match up with it. I said, don't you have a reference? No, we don't bother with that. We just look at these pictures. So I said, well, I'll go over to CarQuest, which I did. And
yeah, in what store was that? Do you know?
The one over in Eden.
Yeah, and that's a owner operated store. You'd have to talk to the actual owner there on that one. I have nobody at corporate I can even call on that one. That's a independently owned and operated store that you'll have to just check with the owner.
Just sounds like the lady doesn't know. She's probably been new. She might be fairly new in the system because
there's a way to look that up. Believe me.
Well, I'm sure there is. And the kid that was with her, he looked over and said, he says, if you got the old points, just bring them in and we'll just start matching. I said, well, that's baloney.
Yeah, you can still look those up. It's not that big a deal.
I get mine looked up all the time.
Yeah, and I would. By the way, you're in an area where you need to mention that to the store owner because that's not the only one of those that they're going to sell. So I would mention that to the owner.
Yeah, well, and I've always been happy with the service I got in Napa, and that's why I went there. I usually go to Napa over by the old airport for Collins.
No, I would mention that to them.
Okay.
Yep, for sure. All right,
well,
appreciate it very much, Jack. Thanks so much for the phone call. And yep, on a lot of the Napa stores that are out there, they are almost all, not all. There are some here in the metro area that are owned by the company itself, but the majority of Napa stores are independently owned and operated. If you've got a problem, you really need to talk to the store owner because they're the ones that are going to be able to fix that. I can call corporate, but chances of getting something done on that, there's not a lot of leverage there is what I'm getting at.
Even if there's a corporate-owned store, you should ask to talk to the manager.
Right, owner, manager, whatever.
Owner, manager, yeah.
Exactly. All right, line open, 303-477-5600. Dell, you're next. What's going on, Dell?
Yeah, how you doing, John?
Good, sir.
Hey, on that deal with the magnetic box with the manual key, that's a good idea, but with all the plastic and
it's hard to find a spot to stick one on.
So what I'd recommend is find a place, and then to keep it from vibrating off and that is take a tie and
wire it
tie
on.
it down to the frame.
Yep, I agree with that. Yep.
And
you really, Dell, you don't even need a magnetic box if you're going to do it your way. You could even take some, a zip tie, mechanics wire, or whatever, and actually just find a nice hole up along the frame someplace and up under the bumper or whatever, and just zip tie the thing on and call it good and not even have to worry about having a magnetic box. Because to your point, there's not a ton of metal underneath that doesn't have some sort of coating on it where it's going to stick solid.
The only problem with that is some of your keys, especially on your European cars, are steel keys.
Oh, they'll rust out too.
They outlawed lead in Europe, so all your keys for your European cars are all steel.
Got it. You could wrap them in some Cosmoline, I guess.
Yeah.
Like the old days.
Yeah.
All right. Good tip, Dell. Appreciate that very much. Thanks for calling in. Appreciate it. Have a great afternoon, by the way, Dell. I really appreciate all your support. Let's go to Jim, who's up next. Jim, what's going on today?
Hey, guys. I'm actually calling you from Oahu. I'm on vacation out here on the North Shore.
You're awesome. I think I'm going to be in Maui at the end of September. So I'm just envious of you. You're there before me.
Well, it's great weather. Hey, I've got an issue. I have a daughter who goes to college out here. She's up at the town of Laie,
okay,
on the North Shore, and she bought a '99 Mazda 626 V6 about a year ago. She didn't confer with me. She just bought it for $1,000. And before she came home for summer break in April, the car was overheating. Had her take it into a shop, and what they did is they removed the thermostat. They didn't replace it. They just removed the thermostat. when we got back here a week ago, and got the
That's
car,
not going to work.
Yeah, got the car running. The car still overheats.
Yeah,
sure does.
Sure
yeah.
will.
And you know, when I said, okay, we're going to try to drive it as far as we can, and turn on the heater, turn it to full heat.
Got it.
They have no heat coming out. It's only cold air.
So it probably has no water in it. It's just hit, you know.
Yeah. Is it full of coolant?
It is.
Okay, it is full of coolant. No heat coming out. Really? So is there any circulation through the core? Can you feel the hoses and see if it's circulating through the core?
At the firewall? See if you can feel the water going through.
Right. I was looking for those hoses that go to the heater core, and
Correct.
I couldn't reach them.
Got it. Okay. You know, because you could have a couple of problems. One, it needs a thermostat in it because you've got to keep the theory behind. I shouldn't say theory. The way the thermostat works in the cooling system is it keeps the coolant in the radiator long enough to actually get cooled down to then come back into the engine, cool it, goes back to the radiator, the exchange happens, and off we go. And it just continues that cycle. With no thermostat, you don't slow the coolant down long enough to actually get it cool.
Mm-hmm.
So even in Hawaii, it needs to have a thermostat.
That was my thought.
Yep. And I realize, you know, I've been there enough over the years to kind of know what you're up against when it comes to the repair shop side of the fence and what have you. But there ought to be somebody on that island that understands enough about how that system works to really get that dialed in. Now, granted, you only paid $1,000 for it, but you know, if everything's working right and you can actually get the thing to cool off like it's supposed to, it ought to work for a while.
But Jim, here's how you find out a good shop. What you want to do is call up the Napa stores there.
You know, I did. I went to a
them.
Napa store, and they gave me a reference.
Yeah, they should give you one. Just say, who's your best shop?
And have you been there yet or no?
I have not been there yet.
Got
No, actually, it's sitting back at the shop that pulled the thermostat.
Got it.
And it's going to be, they're not going to work on it.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah, I wouldn't let them work on it either. I mean, it's a shame that somebody did that because I don't know what they're thinking in pulling the thermostat out, thinking they're going to fix it. It's evident they don't understand basic mechanics, or they would not have done that.
Or else they tried. I don't know what they did that
I don't
for.
either.
I don't know why you do that.
Now, the other thing to look at on that vehicle is make sure it doesn't have a head gasket problem.
Or the radiator
Now-
plugged.
Okay, so on a head gasket, wouldn't I see it in the oil?
Not necessarily, no. It could be coming out the tailpipe, or it could be building pressure inside the cooling system itself. And then thereby, that's what causes the overheating and so on also.
What kind of vehicle was it again?
Mazda. 626, 99 626 with a V6.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say you could pull the plugs too to see if it's burning.
You could, but you know, if it's burning that much, you'd see it coming out the tailpipe,
And I'm not seeing anything coming out the tailpipe.
it's more than likely just a cooling system issue that they just haven't got dialed in. How's the car work? You know, the rest of the time, is everything else okay on it?
It seems to, yes.
So, well, and really, if she got it for $1,000, you can get this cooling system thing fixed. It's not a bad buy.
Yeah. Okay.
Really, it's not. I don't have, and I apologize, I don't have a good recommendation of a shop there. I mean, I spend a bunch of time over there every year, as you all know, but I just don't spend time in shops when I'm there. I guess maybe someday I should, but I don't.
But what we're saying is when you go to a Napa store, Napa parts store, they sell the parts to these shops.
Correct.
They know the good shops that are returning parts.
Yeah, and they gave him a recommendation. He just hasn't been there
So
yet.
that's what's really good about doing that, because then they'll stand behind him.
Correct.
In a way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
And you also can call, and this is something for all of you that are traveling out there, you can also dial the 1-800-LET-NAPA, and that'll also tell you an auto care center in the area, even in Hawaii. It works actually worldwide. You can actually do 1-800-LET-NAPA, plug in the local zip code there, and they'll tell you where a local Napa car care center is.
Cool.
All right. Jim, and how long are you going to be there?
I'm going to be here for another 10 days.
Awesome. Well, enjoy your time while you're there. It's always beautiful. It's my it's my favorite place. I love it. So have fun.
Thanks so much.
You
Thanks,
betcha,
guys.
Jim. Take care. All right, let's do this. Let's take a quick break. Paul in Denver, hang tight. We'll be right back to get you. We've got a couple of lines open. 303-477-5600. Paul's actually got a 92 Jeep with some white smoke coming out. So we'll talk about that as soon as we come back. Don't go away. Lines open right here in KLZ 560.
Today's cars and trucks are very complicated and can be expensive to repair. At Arvada West Auto and Truck, we can help you to understand the complex nature of repairs. We specialize in computer repairs. Maybe you have tried another shop and you still have the same problem. Let our highly experienced technicians at Arvada West Auto help you. Call 303-422-1065 or stop by and see us at Arvada West Auto and Truck, 11752 West 64th Avenue in West Arvada, or visit us on the web at arvadawestautoandtruck.com, 303-422-1065.
Gino's Auto Service in Littleton is your go-to service shop for all your car care needs. After 32 years in business, Gino's has recently expanded, and to celebrate is offering a $69.95 alignment special with the mention of this ad. By getting your vehicle aligned, you're ensuring proper wear and longer life for your tires. Gino's is AAA approved and offers courtesy vehicles while your car is being serviced. They are conveniently located at Bowles and Platte Canyon in Littleton. Visit them online at Gino'sAutoservice.com.
We've all been there. You run to the hood and suddenly realize you don't have the parts you need. Or even worse, you don't know what parts you need. Well, at Napa Auto Parts, we have ASE certified parts specialists that'll make sure you find that right part. One covered by a warranty good at any one of 6,000 Napa locations. Yeah, finding the right part might not be easy, but fortunately, finding the right part store is. Go to NapaOnline.com for the location nearest you. Napa, get the good stuff.
Under normal circumstances, I would never allow my mechanic to repair my transmission. For that, you need a specialist. There is one repair shop with the very rare expertise in both master auto repair and transmission repair, and that's Larry's Automotive and Transmission Repair. With Larry's, you've got the premier ATRA certified transmission specialist and an ASC certified master mechanic under one roof. This means they don't have to refer you to a transmission specialist because they are the transmission specialist. It's more efficient this way. Your repairs are done more quickly by the same guys who already know your car. And since Larry's Automotive would rather repair your transmission than replace it, you'll save hundreds of dollars on your vehicle. Everything under your hood, under one roof. Larry's Automotive and Transmission Repair, and a member of the Colorado Select Auto Care Centers. Call 303-427-2108. 303-427-2108. Ask for Larry and tell him KLZ 560 told you to call.
John Rush here. I want to talk to you about a story I read this past week. A Labrador Retriever had to go in for surgery, and it was found that he had 62 hair bands, 8 pairs of underwear, and a Band-Aid inside of his stomach, which means the dog ate just about anything. So if that were your dog, where would you take him to get that problem solved? Well, I've got just the place. Lone Tree Veterinarian Medical Center. The phone number is 303-708-8050. Go to LoneTreeVet.com. They have got the most fantastic facility you will ever see. Everything in one site, from dog grooming to training to their full lab to the surgery center to you name it. They can take care of it. Cats, dogs, other pets. It doesn't make any difference. If you've got a pet, you need Lone Tree Veterinarian Medical Center. Again, the phone number 303-708-8050. Dr. Bill and Nancy Moyle, they have owned it for a really, really long time. Ages they've owned it. They're longtime listeners of Drive Radio, and you know what? They appreciate the information that Drive Radio gives out. So the best way to support them is give them a call. Have them be your doctor for your pet. It's LoneTreeVet.com. Make sure you tell them that John Rush from Drive Radio sent you. All right, John Rush, Drive Radio, KLZ 560, along with Dennis Brewster from Extreme out in Parker. And Dennis, how do people get a hold of you if they need you?
They can give me a call. They can get on the website, 303-841-1071, and we could get you in and get you out. We have a
20 bays plus.
Yeah.
Take care of you.
Yep. And we also have a tow truck company. And when, you were talking about that earlier about picking up, fixing a tire on the side of the road, I make it mandatory for my techs or my drivers in the tow trucks not to pick up the car. Well, to pick up the car and take it to a parking lot and then change the tire.
Exactly.
Because we just...
Doing them on the side of the road, no.
I'll pay the extra money for it. I would rather
Thank you.
They have to keep safe.
I agree. All right, our number here, we got one line open, 303-477-5600. And I talked earlier about that WRX I'm driving this week. 2015 WRX, which, by the way, is just a phenomenal automobile. I also drove a 2016 Nissan Maxima, the all-new Maxima. Drove that 2 weeks ago. Nice car. Pam, are you listening? It's a really, really nice car.
Yeah, that's what you would want.
It's beautiful. The car, let me just tell you this. For the mid-40s, what that car comes equipped with, I drove back to back an Acura TLX, which, Acura is Honda's luxury brand. The Nissan beats out the Acura on the interior comfort level.
Really?
Yes. And cost about $5,000 less. So, folks, that Nissan,
power,
phenomenal, 300 horsepower, runs. So, yeah, Pam, if you're listening, tell Dennis that's really a nice car.
Yeah.
And I'll have the review up on it over the weekend. You can watch it. But you can see all of our reviews on our YouTube channel. Just go to YouTube and then type in Drive Radio, or you can link it right from our website, drive-radio.com. Kent, you're up next. What's going on, sir?
Oh, hi, John. I've got, a bunch of questions for you, but I'll try and keep them brief.
That's fine. We got time. Whatever you need to do.
Okay. I have to replace a couple of vehicles here in pretty short order, and I'm just kind of looking for some recommendations. The first one that I need to do is need to replace our pickup. We live on a farm and have been beating my old Dodge half-ton to death trying to haul big trailers full of hay and whatnot. So I'm looking to upgrade to, something diesel, but I don't know, I know that, kind of the year matters, the displacement matters. I mean, because some of them,
very much
across the manufacturers, I mean, there's some that are good and some that are not so good.
Yep, that's correct.
And
how new are you looking to go to? First things first, do you think you need a dual wheel truck, or are you going to get by with a single wheel truck? What's your load you're carrying on a typical basis?
About the heaviest I ever pull is around, plus the trailer weight, which I'm not sure what that is, but we'll get like 3 big square bales of hay on this one trailer that I use, and they're pretty close to a ton apiece. So 3 tons plus the trailer.
246 plus the trailer. So you're probably pushing 8 to 10,000 pounds pretty regularly.
Yeah.
You could do that with a single wheel truck. Your longevity when it comes to the braking and the axle and all that sort of the fence is better if you could put it in the stability, of course, is better if you can do a dual wheel truck. But it depends on what you're doing with the truck the rest of the year. And of course, you can buy a dual wheel truck and a cabin chassis with a flatbed, which around the farm tends to work out pretty well. Or you can buy a pickup. It just depends on what you're doing with the truck. So here's the other question: how new are you looking to go to? In other words, what's your budget? What are you trying to spend on a truck?
I'd like to get something, I don't want to spend the 50, 60 grand for one that's brand new, but I want one that's relatively new, but 100,000 miles is acceptable to me on a,
in that case, then you could buy pretty much anything that's 2010 and newer. I mean, literally, you go let's say 2011, because that's when the Ford 6.7 started. So 2011 and newer. There's not a truck that you could really go wrong with. I mean, you could buy Chevy, Ford, or Dodge. Each one of them would do whatever you need to do. It just comes down to, what do you find? What's the miles on it? How's it been maintained? What's it been used for? So on and so forth.
You're going to have a hard time finding some of those.
Yeah, they're tough. I mean, if you find a guy like myself, where every now and then I'll roll my pickup, out, and I typically drive a crew cab, pickup, plow snow with it, doesn't get a ton of miles. My current truck, it's a 2011. I've got 20,000 miles on it, so it's kind of a cream puff. If you find one of those, you're going to pay a little more money for it. But that truck, just for comparisons, and mine doesn't have leather and all the bells and whistles. It's an LT series truck, but that truck is probably still worth somewhere around 40-ish, because that truck new is close to 50. So even the condition it's in is still probably worth in the high 30s to low 40s. But if you can find a truck like that, even though it's maybe not your brand preference, if you can find that kind of a truck, you still buy it.
And could you tell me what mechanically is different between a 2500 and a 3500?
Nothing. It's all suspension. That's it. Mechanically, it's got heavier rear springs, and that's it.
And that's long and short of it, is just the rear springs.
It's GVWR rating that they do with the rear springs. The brakes are the same. The rear axle is the same. The transmission's the same. The transfer case is the same. The engine's the same. I believe even the frame rails are the same. The only thing they do different is put a heavier rear suspension in it. Now, if you go to a dual wheel truck, other things change. But on a single wheel truck, 3/4 ton to 1 ton, not a lot of difference.
just a little bit heavier springs.
Correct.
And which if I could find one, and they're probably going to be relatively comparable in price depending on where you go. I mean, I'd prefer to go with the 1 ton.
Right.
But
it would for what you're doing. It really wouldn't. My truck, for example, has got a GVW of about 10.5. That truck would still haul what you need to haul, and off you go.
And that's a 3/4 ton.
Correct.
Okay. I'm a little bit afraid of automatic transmissions in a truck like that.
That's all you're going to find now. You 2011 and newer. I don't quote me on this, but I think even Dodge stopped doing manuals in those long about that vintage 2. So you're not going to find a diesel right now with a manual transmission. And the automatics work good, so it's not a problem anyways. Trust me, I run a fleet of those. I've got, I don't know, a dozen or so of the trucks you're mentioning that we run on a daily basis and pull, at times pull some really, really heavy stuff. I mean, I have to because of CDL stuff, unless I've got a CDL driver stay under the 26,000 pounds. And I've got some 550s and 5,500 Dodges with automatics pulling, 20,000 pounds around. No problem.
And not a lot of transmission problems.
None.
Yeah, because my 01 Dodge, I mean, I
totally different.
Third transmission rebuild.
Totally,
that thing.
yeah. The totally different vehicle, totally different transmission, not even close to being the same.
Okay. Good to know. Good to know. The other question is, I was only looking at replacing that vehicle until a week ago Monday when a Morgan County employee driving a tractor trailer with a belly dump full of gravel ran a stop sign on Highway 52 and almost killed my wife and son. So her 01 Dodge Chrysler Town and Country ended up upside down in the ditch.
Got it. So you got to replace the minivan now.
Got to replace that. So we're looking at any one of about 1 million different choices of crossovers. I'm so frustrated.
There's a ton
of those things. And
so here's what you need. Here's what you do on the crossover side of the fence. Is first of all, you gotta narrow it down to what do you need? Do you need 2 rows of seats, 3 rows of seats? That's the number one question you have to ask when you start looking at crossovers, because that separates them out, pretty easily. In other words, if you need 7 passengers, that's one segment of that market. If you can get by with 5 passengers, then it becomes another segment. And then you start whittling down. Do you want all-wheel drive, front-wheel drive? Do you want V6? Do you need a 4-cylinder? Are you looking for fuel economy? Do you want interior comfort room? And that's how you start sizing all of that up.
Yeah, and we've taken all those factors in, and probably narrowed it down to about 200-300 different choices. It seems like
there's a lot
because we're like 4-wheel or all-wheel drive is kind of a must for where we live.
Okay.
A little bit of also we live so far out, you kind of have to plan your groceries. We don't need a 3rd row of seats.
Got it.
But
you want the cargo room
space and 4-wheel or all-wheel drive. I've kind of been looking at
the Grand, and just to throw some ideas your way, the Grand Cherokees, later Grand Cherokees with the V6 Pentastar, pretty tough to beat for what you're doing.
How are they on fuel economy? Are they in like 30
24
mile highway range?
24, 25. No, you won't get 30, but 24, 25.
Yeah, I've actually looked at some of the new, not Grand Cherokees, but the new Jeep Cherokees.
Yeah, and I did the same thing. Actually, I talked about this last week. The downside to the little Cherokee versus the Grand Cherokee, your fuel economy is better, but your total travel distance in the little Cherokee isn't as great as a Grand Cherokee because they shrink the fuel tank down so far. Interior room is almost the same. It is smaller in the little Cherokee versus the Grand Cherokee, but you do lose a lot of traveling distance. I didn't do that. I have to do the math again, but I think it's around, don't quote me on this, do the math yourself, but I think you're going to be shy about 100 miles Grand Cherokee versus Cherokee because of the bigger tank on the Grand Cherokee.
Yeah, that's not really a deal breaker. I mean, we've probably got about depending on what town we go to, 60 miles.
Right. Yeah, and I was looking at it more for, if you go to travel anywhere, you're going to do a long distance, you just end up with more room in the Grand Cherokee than you do the little Cherokee. Is that a big deal? Is it a deal breaker? No, and I do feel personally, I feel like the running gear on the Grand Cherokee is a little heavier than it is on the small Cherokee.
Okay.
Just personally speaking.
What about the other ones? Well, we kind of looked at the Dodge Journey. We've looked at Ford Escape. We've looked at a couple of different Nissans.
I would do Escape before I would do Journey. the advantage that the Grand Cherokee is going to give you, or even the little Cherokee, that most of the rest of them won't, is you'll find very few of them anymore with a full low-range transfer case in them. If that's important, you're pretty much stuck with a Jeep product.
Yeah, I do like the off-road capabilities of them.
Then you just named your pick. Decide between a Grand Cherokee and a Cherokee, and go for it.
Okay.
You already narrowed it down. There you are.
So, all right. Well,
okay.
Thank you for your time.
You're very welcome. Appreciate it.
I've got a bunch more other questions, but I'll call you back on another
Sounds
day.
great. Just keep calling us, and you can always email me. It doesn't make any difference. We'll take those all during the week. You can do that at drive-radio.com. And a lot of the vehicles that I just mentioned, we've got full video reviews on the website. Just go to drive-radio.com. It links it right to YouTube. We've got a channel there. Over now, I think we've got over 2,000 subscribers, which subscribers means that they're watching almost every video that comes out. Over 1 million views of what we've got on our Drive Radio channel on YouTube. And we've got, I think, over 300 different videos up now. So we just keep adding to it. Plus, we're starting to go through and do the shops. We've done Dennis's already. I just did Tilden. I've got a little bit of editing to finish up on Tilden's. But if you want to find out about the shops, we're going to take those videos, put them on the website, but they're also on our YouTube channel. So one line open, 303-477-5600. Paul and Eric, hang tight. We're going to be right back right after these messages. Don't go away. John Rush, Dennis Brewster, Drive Radio, KLZ 560.
At Napa Auto Parts, we've been the most trusted name in auto parts for over 80 years. Probably because we've never stopped looking for ways to make the great parts we sell even better. It's a commitment to quality you'll find in every one of our 310,000 parts. From the bacteria-killing surface on our cabin air filters, to the patented damping mechanism on our drive-align belt tensioners, to our revolutionary new Adaptive One brakes. And Napa parts are covered by a warranty that's good at any of our 6,000 Napa Auto Parts stores nationwide. Yeah, maybe you don't get this at your average auto parts store, but at Napa, we've spent the last 80 years making sure we were anything but average. To find the Napa Auto Parts store nearest you, go to NapaOnline.com. Napa, get the good stuff.
With over 125 locations in Colorado, southern Wyoming, and western Nebraska, there's only one place to get the good stuff: Napa Auto Parts.
Your wheel alignment can affect tire wear and fuel mileage that will cost you more for repairs and fuel. Arvada West uses state-of-the-art 3D imaging to align all 4 wheels of your vehicle. Be aware that irregular tire wear could also cause the need for additional alignment parts. Stop in or call us for our alignment special. Mention this ad and we'll inspect your vehicle and check your alignment starting at $69.95. Call Arvada West Auto at 303-422-1065. Stop by 11752 West 64th Avenue or visit us on the web at arvadawestautoandtruck.com.
We breathe dirty air every day, and believe it or not, the air you breathe inside your vehicle can be even more polluted than the air outside. Thankfully, many of the vehicles sold today are equipped with a cabin air filter to help keep the air inside your car clean. If you are driving a car with a dirty or clogged cabin air filter, not only are you breathing dirty air, but it also puts a strain on your car's HVAC system, decreasing its performance and longevity. K&N, the inventor of washable automotive air filters, has applied its decades of high-flow, washable air filter design to cabin air filters for cars and trucks. These robust filters clean and freshen the air coming into your car's interior and are electrostatically charged to hold dust and dirt. They feature a pleated filter media that helps capture most mold, mildew, fungus, spores, bacteria, germs, pollen, and other allergens, while still allowing a high volume of airflow. They are strengthened by a custom design frame for a great fit and years of use. Best of all, K&N cabin air filters are washable and clean up easy with the K&N Refresher Cabin Air Filter Cleaning Kit. They typically only need cleaning every 12 to 15,000 miles or once a year, but you can wash them more often if you'd like, and K&N backs them up with a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited warranty. They come with easy-to-follow installation instructions so you can easily replace your old filter, usually in 5 to 10 minutes. Keep the air inside your car clean and fresh without continually burying and throwing away disposable filters. Find the K&N washable cabin air filter for your car or truck at knfilters.com. That's knfilters.com.
How stressful. You hear a noise, see a fluid leak, feel something funny, a little light comes on your dash, or your car totally breaks down, and you have no idea what it means, what to do, or how to fix it. With how much we depend on our cars to go about our daily lives, you'd think they'd teach us this stuff in school. Luckily for you, you have us. At Community Auto, we're serious about what we do, and we're darn good at it. Having served Fort Collins and northern Colorado for over 20 years, our family-owned and operated AAA-approved shop has family that extends far beyond our garage doors. At Community Auto, we put the emphasis on care, not just auto repair. Ladies, ever felt intimidated going into an auto repair shop? Scared you'll be taken advantage of? Our female staff is friendly, knowledgeable, and will thoroughly explain and educate you on what's going on with your car. You'll be in the know and in turn be taken care of. Because at Community Auto, we know that a happy car will get you far.
Here are the 3 C's of high performance in less than 60 seconds. Your engine piston rings must have good compression, which makes good combustion, which saves cash at the pump. But you lose compression when piston rings clog with carbon. Today's engines use low tension rings, which clog much easier, which lowers compression, combustion, and the amount of cash in your pocket with higher fuel cost and expensive repairs. This problem can be fixed as fast as your next oil change. The best service shops use a BG product that cleans the engine and accomplishes the 3 C's in just 15 minutes. It has 3 letters, EPR, as in engine performance restoration, that cleans piston rings and restores compression, which increases and saves you. Find a shop with BG products at bgfindashop.com. That's bgfindashop.com. So, at your next oil change, remember the 3 C's. You will find more of this in your engine and this in your pocket when you clean your engine with BG.
Reliability. It's what every driver wants from their vehicle. Regardless of make or model, you want your vehicle to take you where you need to go. Reliability is exactly what the Colorado Select Auto Care Centers offer. They've set the standard for excellence in automotive repair and maintenance. Each member offers Napa Auto Care Peace of Mind Warranty, along with the highest level of customer service and integrity. To find a Colorado Select Auto Care Center near you, log on to drive-radio.com or call 303-546-NAPA.
All right, John Rush, Drive Radio, KLZ 560. And speaking of new cars, if there's anything you need on a new or used car, please call our broker, Isaac Bouchard, 303-475-1462, because he can find literally anything you want, help you sell what you've got, buy new, buy used, lease, whatever it is you need, he will help you. Again, Isaac Bouchard, our local broker through Preferred Auto Brokers, 303-475-1462. Let's go to Eric, who is next in Thornton. Eric, what's going on, sir?
Hey, guys, quick question for you. Looking at newer GM pickups,
yes,
either the Silverado or the Sierra, what is the difference in the reliability between the 4.8, the 5.3, and the 6.2? Because one of the things I'm finding on the pre-owned is the 4.8 seems to run a couple $1,000s cheaper in price.
Yep, because it's not enough power for our elevation is a lot of it.
Okay.
I would not be a 4.8 buyer in our market, but that's just me.
Okay.
The 5.3 is the smallest I would go to. And I tell you what, the 5.3 works pretty darn good. I've driven some new trucks even with the larger engine. And what I will tell you is, while it does work better, I don't know if it's I don't know if the cost justifies it, is what I'm trying to get at. And the fuel economy is not as good. The 5.3 is pretty tough to beat. That engine works really, really well.
Yeah, because it's like I'm noticing even some of the ones with the 6.2, because I just looked at a half ton with the 6.2, and they're like even discounted greatly over the 5.3.
Yeah, and that's because the fuel economy and so on. Now, fuel economy is not a big deal, which if prices go down, like the article that Larry gave me a little bit ago this winter, to less than $2 a gallon, then maybe fuel economy is not a big deal. But if fuel economy is an issue, the 5.3 is a better way to go.
Okay.
That's why that's why they're still bringing a little more money, because of that.
Yeah, because it just seemed like it just seemed kind of weird looking at the prices on how, one specific motor seems to catch the premium on it, and that's what I just wanted.
That's why.
All right, thanks.
You betcha. Take care. All right, we got to take a quick break here in just a second, but before we do, and Paul, hang with us. Sorry, my contacts, it's the end of the month. I should have changed them this morning, so I'm a little blurry yet. So looking that far away. Paul, hang tight. We'll get you just as soon as we come back from the top of the hour news break. Don't go anywhere. I do need to mention Robbins Mobile Detailing. So, Dennis, that's one of your guys. You know him very well.
Yeah, we use him all the time.
Fantastic.
Yeah, he does a great job, and he'll go to your house. He'll come to you. he comes and uses our shop quite a bit, and we let him do that. And we recommend him all the time. And if we ever have a situation where we need a car detailed, we do that because we sell some cars. And
it's all self-contained. Everything he does, he basically shows up at your business, your house, wherever you need to, does everything on site, all self-contained. And you know what? The details vary. So I'm not going to give any prices because you really need to call them and find out exactly what's going on that end of the fence before you do anything.
He's done a great job on the interior as far as pulling the seats out and cleaning them and stuff. I mean, if you're going to get rid of a car, you know, we're hearing a lot of people saying that they want to get a new truck or something. Detail it first. You get more money.
It's worth every penny to do that on the front side. It's Robbins Mobile Detailing. You can find them right through our website. Go to drive-radio.com. Click on the sponsor page. You'll see them there. But use them. They're again, a great sponsor of Drive Radio. I highly recommend them. They've been detailing cars since 1998. It's Robbins Mobile Detailing. Let's take a quick news break. We'll be right back. Hour number 3 coming up next, right here on Drive Radio. Don't go away. Paul, you'll be first up. We've got lines open, 303-477-5600. John Rush, your host, Drive Radio, KLZ 560.
Still haven't had enough? Go to drive-radio.com. Email your questions and comments. Download previous programs and find lots of useful information, including your nearest Colorado Select Auto Care Center. That's drive-radio.com. Thanks for listening to Drive Radio, sponsored by the member shops of Colorado Select Auto Care Centers on KLZ 560.
Drive Radio is a presentation of Colorado Select Auto Care Centers. The independently owned and operated shops of Colorado Select hold each other accountable for the highest standards of technical expertise, honesty, and professionalism. They all understand that choosing a mechanic is risky business, so Colorado Select was created by this exclusive group of like-minded professionals who are dedicated to raising the level of consumer confidence in Colorado's auto repair industry. Schedule your next oil change at any of the Colorado Select Auto Care Centers heard on Drive Radio, and you'll immediately see the difference. For the complete list of all the member shops in the state, visit drive-radio.com.
After almost 20 hours of interviews and meetings with the morning host candidates, we are confident we have what we have been praying and working for, which is what you want. Meaning we have your man. Actually, we have your men. Beginning August 10th, Wake Up will resume with former Colorado GOP chairman and the current VP of Colorado Union of Taxpayers, Steve Curtis, as your everyday Liberty quarterback, and co-hosted by either Andy Pate, Dan Muir, or other special comrades. These outstanding men and women will complement and strengthen each other while constantly challenging you, our faithful KLZ listeners, in terms of your political and social perspectives and strategies. Some will further how you think, speak, and act based on Scripture, others specializing in sound blueprints that will ensure success when striving to protect those critical essentials: liberty, freedom, and truth. And when necessary, they will unmask those right under our noses or across the country who are trying to undermine or destroy our game plans and specifically our constitutional powers. In short, they will invariably address the patently acute issues of the day or those of a lifetime. Wake Up is back, and I promise you will agree it is obviously and significantly better than ever. Listen every morning from 6 a.m. to 8 a.m., Monday through Friday, right here on your Emancipation Station, 560 KLZ. I'm Manager Don Crawford Jr.
Freedom, liberty, truth. KLZ AM 560, KLZ HD Denver. Listen live at klz560radio.com. KLZ 560.
This is the Blaze Radio News. I'm Kay Long. Donald Trump attacking a top Hillary Clinton aide. The Blaze Radio's Tom Peace.
Donald Trump tells the Daily Mail that the person seeing Clinton's emails more than anybody else is Huma Abedin, and that she's a security liability because of who she's married to. Abedin's married to disgraced former Democratic Congressman Anthony Weiner, Trump calling him the worst deviant in the United States of America. Weiner forced to resign after 2 sexting scandals. Trump claims the pair had access to Clinton's classified emails.
3 of Osama bin Laden's family members dead after a plane crash in England. Saudi state media reporting a sister of the former al-Qaeda leader killed along with her husband and mother when their private jet crashes Friday. The Jordanian pilot also killed. The flight headed from Milan to an airport in southern England at the time of the crash. The family of the late terrorist leader among Saudi Arabia's most prominent business dynasties. The group behind a series of videos exposing Planned Parenthood doctors working to harvest the organs of aborted babies explains why its latest video is fought in court. The Blaze Radio's Christopher Million.
STEM Express is trying to suppress a specific video recording of a meeting with their top leadership where their leadership admitted that they sometimes get fully intact fetuses shipped to their laboratory from the abortion clinics that they work with. And that could be prima facie evidence of born alive infants. So that's where they're trying to suppress that videotape, and they're very scared of it.
David Daleiden is the man behind the undercover Planned Parenthood videos. He tells CNN's New Day why an unreleased video has one company fighting in court to keep it hidden from the public's view. Daleiden also says his group is working within the law while documenting the scandal.
The Center for Medical Progress follows all applicable laws in the course of our investigative journalism work, and we're, of course, ready to contest any infringement or attempt to suppress or silence our free speech rights.
Chris Vermillion, The Blaze News.
This is news on the Blaze Radio Network. Truth lives here.
The Blaze Radio News on KLZ 560 Denver.
John Rush during the afternoon rush, weekdays from 3 to 6 on KLZ 560.
It's a mighty fancy automobile. Oh, she's a real road king, all right. 0 to 60 in 7.5. She'll do a quarter mile, 13.40. 390 horsepower, 500 foot-pounds of torque. Whatever that is. Performance and image, that's what it's all about.
There's no such thing as a stupid question. This is Drive Radio. All of your automotive questions are just one phone call away. 303-477-5600. Drive Radio is made possible by the member shops of Colorado Select Auto Care Centers. To find one near you, go to drive-radio.com. Now, Drive Radio on KLZ 560.
And it is Drive Radio. I'm your host, John Rush. KLZ 560. Dennis Brewster from Extreme Automotive is with us today. Mindy's on the other side of the glass, engineering for us. And Larry Unger from Larry's Automotive and Transmission is also with us, as he is most every single Saturday. There's a few exceptions to that, but not very often. So Thank you guys for doing this.
Last time he wasn't on, I was teasing him, and I got a text from him saying, you can help me do the work I do next time I'm off. And I'm like, whoops.
Well, he was moving dirt. Were you moving something, wasn't he? What was he moving?
Landfill. He was taking stuff to the landfill.
Going to the dump.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd rather be here. Never mind.
Because he said next
You're
time
on
you
your
can
own,
help
Larry.
me. Yeah. He said next time you can help me. I'm like,
That's okay. All right. Let's go to Paul in Denver, who's up next. Paul, welcome. What's going on?
Hi, John. I'm still maintaining that 93 Jeep Grand Cherokee.
Great.
It's a 6-liter engine. But the other day we were moving it from Ken's shop in Aurora back to my house in Denver. And it blew a little white smoke.
Okay.
As it drove up onto the flatbed. Now, that's a whole nother story, but I was thinking I'm getting ready for a serious go-over of this car for a maintenance session and thinking, well, is it time to replace this head gasket? It's only got 273,000 plus miles.
I would not do a head gasket. I would do an engine at 273. You know, lifespan of that 4-liter engine is typically in the 300,000 range. I've seen some go further than that, but once they get to that mark, they're getting pretty tired. You're more of a candidate of putting an entire long block in it than just doing the head gasket.
Okay.
I would not mess with doing a head gasket.
if you did a head gasket, you'll probably have an oil problem.
You're just going to end up. What's going to happen is you're going to do that, and you're going to chase all sorts of other things in the process. You'd be better off just if you're going to keep the vehicle long term. Really go through it from bumper to bumper. Just put an engine in it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Don't try to scab it together. Just or decide if you're going to keep that vehicle long term, and if not, then upgrade into something newer.
Yeah, I'd like to do that, but I'm kind of not in a financial position to do that. So
Well,
I'll just keep it running as long as I can and then drop an engine.
You
in it.
could,
That's
the downside is just keep in mind when you do an engine, you're probably still going to spend $4 to $5 grand doing an engine. At that point, you can start looking at other vehicles.
That's a good point.
So, you're almost at a position with yours where you just drive it till it stops and then determine at that point, do I put it on Craigslist and get $500 out of it and then move into a different vehicle that I can spend $5-6 grand on? That probably would be the best alternative at that point.
Okay.
Sounds
good.
All right. Thanks, Paul.
I didn't want to do.
Oh, I appreciate it very much. Thanks for calling in. Aaron and Berthoud is up next. Aaron, welcome. What's going on today, sir?
Hey, I've got a oil pressure drop off when I get the operating temperature.
Okay, what are you driving?
96 Dodge Dakota with a 5.2.
Okay.
It's got 288,000 miles on it.
Okay. And when's it dropping off?
Well, when it gets up to operating temperature, I can watch it go down. In fact, I'm driving. I can watch it just pull down, and sometimes when I go to idle, it drops clear off.
Okay.
And I don't know if it's just maybe the oil pump's wearing out or
no. It's just the clearances in the engine are starting to open up. What weight of oil are you running?
I run 1030.
Okay.
And I used Durblend forever till it went away. And I noticed after I started trying to find another oil, that's when I started having those issues.
Well, what I would do is, and again, back to our sponsor, BG Products, who's one of our sponsors now, I would probably start running either an engine performance restoration, they call it an EPR, or the MOA. And, just go online, look at all the different choices that you've got. And they've got one where you could do some cleaning with the additive. And then they've got a regular additive you could put, on a regular basis. I would probably use one as a cleaning agent, the next one as a maintenance agent, and see if some of that won't help the oil pressure a little bit.
Okay.
Okay. But basically, you've just got a lot of clearance now in the engine.
That's kind of what I figured too.
And here's the rule of thumb. As long as an engine will keep above even 7 pounds of pressure. I mean, the old super stockers, when we'd run drags and do things like that, if you get them down to 5 or 7 pounds, you gained horsepower and they'd still oil. And the reality is, as long as it's got that, they'll oil. Now, would we like to have them, would we like to see them with 15, 20 pounds of oil pressure? Yes. But it will still operate with less than that.
Right. Yeah, well, it's a good truck, 20 miles a gallon. Can't complain.
Yeah, I would try the BG products and see what happens.
Okay.
Not going to hurt anything doing it.
Yep, thanks.
You're very welcome, Aaron. Want to add some of that, Dennis?
Well, I was just thinking sometimes those gauges too, you might want to take a look at the gauge and see if it's actually accurate.
Put a real manual gauge on it and see what it actually reads.
Yeah.
Make sure that it's not false.
Yeah, you might be chasing something. But what you're saying is making sense because it's got 286,000 miles. It's starting to loosen up a little bit.
Yeah,
so.
And they do, especially when it's a 96. And not that 96 was a bad year, but 96 versus 2016, the machining processes, what we've got with
the clearances,
everything is way better today than it was 20 years ago. And they were really good in 96. So don't get me wrong. It was already starting to get much better then, but today compared to then, no comparison.
Yeah.
So that's part of it. So lines open 303-477-5600. Dale, you are next. What's going on today?
Hey, gents.
How are you doing, sir?
Pretty good. This is my brother's vehicle. I'll just give you a quick what happened.
Okay.
He was driving back from Gillette, pulling a trailer. He blew top radiator hose, fixed that. It got pretty hot, he said. Fixed it, put water in it, took off. It idled really, really bad. But when he would get out on the road, it ran good. Brought it all the way back here and checked it over real clearly, thoroughly. Everything is good except it just idles. Doesn't idle right.
And it's a 96
Jeep Cherokee with a 4.0.
Okay, with a 4-liter. Okay. Not idling well after it got hot.
Yeah, and that's the only thing that's wrong with it.
Okay. And when we mean not idling well, is it missing? Is it hunting for idle? Is it high idle? What's it doing?
It's missing right now. I guess it was extremely rough right off the bat, but the longer the more time was spent on it. And I told him to put some BG44. I don't know if it has anything to do with the injectors, but and then I tried to call you last week and I wasn't able to. So
it actually might be more of a ring issue than it might be a injector issue. And BG's got a product that would actually help loosen up the rings if in fact that's what's going on. What bothers me is it got hot. Now it's got this engine mist problem. That's always a indicator something else is going on inside the engine.
And that's going to take some looking at, to be honest with you.
First thing I would do with it is run a compression test.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because otherwise, he said when he takes off and runs it, it has the same power it always had.
Okay. Do a compression test next. Make sure you don't have any low cylinders. If you do have a low cylinder, then you need to do a leak down test of that cylinder to determine if it's got rings, valves, those sorts of problems, and then you'd have to go from there. Now, if all the compression is good across the board, then you're probably more on the lines of an electronic/injection issue. But with it being hot, I'll bet you it's something mechanical.
Okay. All right, I'll do that. Yeah, I had one of my own pickups did that, and it was a burned valve, but it was a whole different situation there. It just
and the 4 liters can burn valves. So I'm not saying that, I don't know for positive. They have a habit of having camshafts go flat. They can burn valves. They can have bad rings. That was a good engine, but they did have their problems. Back to the comment I made just a moment ago. I mean, that's still old technology in that Jeep 4 liter.
And you can also have a little bit of a miss, but you're just really not feeling it when you get the higher RPMs.
Correct.
Because you have the torque.
You've got other cylinders overcoming it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not sure how the computer compensates. I'm sure it compensates.
In those days, not a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Not much in that day.
No.
Not as much as they would in a 2016 or even a 2006. They don't do near as much then as they do today.
Okay. All right.
Okay. But the fact of the matter is it overheated. Now you've got a miss. I would be looking at the engine itself, make sure mechanically it's sound. You want to do a compression test first, followed by a leak down test, and just go through the process to see what's going on.
Okay. I'll let him know.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
You betcha, Dale. Thank you very much for calling in. Joseph, hang tight. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back on your 08 Suburban with some oil loss. We've got a couple of lines open, 303-477-5600. And again, check out all of our sponsors, if you would, please, at drive-radio.com. And one thing that I need you to do for me is if you use any of our sponsors, whether it's Paul Leuenberger on insurance, which, Paul's a great guy. Gave his name out this past week on Rush to Reason. So he helped out somebody. If you need any of those guys, anybody on there, doesn't matter if it's one of our Colorado Select shops or not, whoever it is, please tell them you listen to them. Okay. Tell them you heard them on Drive Radio. 2 reasons for that. One, it's going to make you part of the family. When they hear that, hey, you're from Drive Radio, I'm from Drive Radio, we're all together in this. Hey, you know what? There's just camaraderie that already gets built in right on the front side. The second thing it does is it lets them know that you're listening and it really matters that they advertise with us.
Yeah.
And guess what? We can't keep doing this show. If you all like what you hear every week, we really need you to use the sponsors. It's that simple. But tell them that you heard them on Drive Radio. So listen to these spots coming up next. Joseph, you'll be up as soon as we come back. And we've got a line open, 303-477-5600. John Rush, Dennis Brewster, right here on KLZ 560.
Never know how. PB Blaster Penetrating Catalyst is like magic on stubborn bolts. And this month at Napa Auto Parts, you can get PB Blaster Penetrating Catalyst for just 99 cents after a $3 mail-in rebate. And don't forget Napa Oil Change Combo with 5 quarts of Napa Conventional Oil Change plus a Napa Silver Oil Filter is just $17.99 every day at Napa. Conquer the job like you conquered life with Napa Know-How. Napa Know-How!
Gino's Auto Service in Littleton is your go-to service shop for all your car care needs. After 32 years in business, Gino's has recently expanded and to celebrate is offering a $69.95 alignment special with the mention of this ad. By getting your vehicle aligned, you're ensuring proper wear and longer life for your tires. Gino's is AAA approved and offers courtesy vehicles while your car is being serviced. They are conveniently located at Bowles and Platte Canyon in Littleton. Visit them online at Gino'sAutoservice.com.
Arvada West Auto wants to help you get the best fuel mileage you can. Approximately 3.5 million gallons of gas a day are lost due to underinflated tires. There are many things we can do to help you boost your fuel mileage, and most of it comes down to basic maintenance. No one likes to spend money on unplanned repairs. Let Arvada West Auto and Truck do what they do best. Keep your vehicles running at peak performance. From tune-ups to wheel alignments, they've got you covered with a 3-year or 36,000-mile warranty on most cars. On the web, visit ArvadaWestAutoandTruck.com or call 303-422-1065. Arvada West Auto and Truck, where every question is important. Located on West 64th Avenue between Ward Road and Sims.
This is Red Merrill for Phoenix Weaponry. Phoenix Weaponry is a weapon manufacturer that services the firearm enthusiast. From precision ARs to suppressors, Phoenix Weaponry can make your dreams come true. Phoenix Weaponry is a full-service gun shop that offers gunsmithing, coating, and modifications to your own weapon. Phoenix Weaponry, family-owned and operated right here in Colorado. If you can dream it, Phoenix Weaponry can build it. Call today, 720-340-2496. Again, that's 720-340-2496. Or visit their website, phoenixweaponry.com. Mention Sportsman of Colorado and receive 10% off your custom-built weapon.
We breathe dirty air every day, and believe it or not, the air you breathe inside your vehicle can be even more polluted than the air outside. Thankfully, many of the vehicles sold today are equipped with a cabin air filter to help keep the air inside your car clean. If you are driving a car with a dirty or clogged cabin air filter, not only are you breathing dirty air, but it also puts a strain on your car's HVAC system, decreasing its performance and longevity. K&N, the inventor of washable automotive air filters, has applied its decades of high-flow, washable air filter design to cabin air filters for cars and trucks. These robust filters clean and freshen the air coming into your car's interior and are electrostatically charged to hold dust and dirt. They feature a pleated filter media that helps capture most mold, mildew, fungus, spores, bacteria, germs, pollen, and other allergens, while still allowing a high volume of airflow. They are strengthened by a custom design frame for a great fit and years of use. Best of all, K&N cabin air filters are washable and clean up easy with the K&N Refresher Cabin Air Filter Cleaning Kit. They typically only need cleaning every 12 to 15,000 miles or once a year, but you can wash them more often if you'd like, and K&N backs them up with a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited warranty. They come with easy-to-follow installation instructions so you can easily replace your old filter, usually in 5 to 10 minutes. Keep the air inside your car clean and fresh without continually burying and throwing away disposable filters. Find the K&N washable cabin air filter for your car or truck at knfilters.com. That's knfilters.com.
John Rush, Drive Radio, KLZ 560. And don't forget, next Saturday, a week from today, we will be at Phoenix Weaponry up in Longmont. Yeah, one of our great sponsors of Drive Radio. They do custom gunsmithing. They'll build you a custom AR-15, which for a lot of you that don't know what that is, well, look it up. AR-15 is really a cool weapon, and they've got some custom one-offs they'll do for under $1,000.
That's cheap.
It's a good deal.
Yeah.
And that's all custom. They're custom lower and everything. So if you want to know more about that, come out and see us next week. Again, Phoenix Weaponry will be up in Longmont. Look it up on our website, drive-radio.com. Coming up in the rest of the month, we've got a remote also that will be at Extreme Auto Repair for Dennis's annual car show and open house and all the goodies that you have going on.
Yep. Yeah, 14 years
Food
we've been doing
what
this.
have you. It's always good.
Yeah. We anticipate 40 or more cars, you know. We always start with
Lots of people,
40.
150, 200 people plus. It's always a lot of fun. It's a blast.
Yeah, we had to look at our game plan this year because last year we ran out of food, so we fixed that.
So you better get there early.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So, and then after that, on the 29th, we'll have K&N in studio with us, one of their great charities here in Denver that they're working with. Plus, we'll have Rich on to talk about K&N products and all the different things that they have going on. But up next here on Drive Radio, we have one line open, is Yosef. Yosef, what's going on today?
Yeah, I got a 2008 Suburban. Lost 3 quarts of oil.
Okay.
And there is no leak. Antifreeze is clean and doesn't smoke. I was wondering what's going on.
3 quarts and how many miles, Joseph?
Last in 2,000 miles.
Okay, so 3 quarts and 2,000 miles. Well,
that's excessive.
It's more, yeah, it's excessive, and it's more than likely burning it. You don't see it coming out the tailpipe because the catalytic converters are such that it will actually clean the majority of that up. But my gut feeling is you're probably burning it. One way to check that would be to have somebody pull the spark plugs and see how the spark plugs look. That way you'll know whether or not you're burning it and where it's going.
And then a leak down test.
That's not, you know, I'll just say this. That's in that vintage, in that vehicle, that's not an uncommon problem. Those had some issues that way.
Okay.
What kind of make was it?
It's a Suburban.
Suburban 2008.
And you have no oil leaks anywhere.
No oil leaks whatsoever. I mean, we left them on the top of our left. We look all over. We run the car, let it cool off, then it started again. So no puff of smoke coming out or whatsoever.
The other thing I would have somebody do on that vehicle also is go through the entire PVC, or PCV, I should say, emission system. So the PVC emission, the PCV, positive crankcase ventilation. Have them go through the whole system and make sure that that's functioning properly and that you're not sucking any crankcase oil back in through the intake, and having an issue that way also. So there is a couple of things you can do to find out exactly what's going on. So here's how I would do it. First of all, have somebody pull the spark plugs. Determine whether there's any oil, whether there's any oil consumption in the combustion chamber itself. You can look at the plugs and tell that. Look at the PCV system. And then I also would do a mechanical compression test on that engine and see what the compression's like also.
I do a leak down test.
And do a leak down test also. Do all three of those.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. And that,
Thanks,
but
John.
again, they had issues with that, so you're just going to need to determine what's going on with it
And not a lot of techs know how to do that leak down test.
correctly.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay. Appreciate it, Joseph, very much. We have a line open, 303-477-5600. Dan in Lakewood, you are next.
Go through the entire.
Hey, Dan, can you turn your radio down?
I should say emission system for the PVC emission.
All right, I got to put him on hold while he gets his radio turned down there. So, Larry, get him to turn his radio down a little bit, and then we'll get Dan back up. In the meantime, what other special events do we have coming up besides your stuff, Dennis?
Oh, boy. What do we got coming up?
Next week, Phoenix Weaponry.
Yeah.
Take a break. We're back in studio. Then it's out to your place.
Yep.
Then we take a break, and well, not really a break. We come back here. K&N will be in studio with us. Then we head into September.
Yeah, September already.
There is the month already gone by.
Yeah.
Okay, so Larry handed me an article earlier
Yeah, let's talk about that.
about
fuel?
the fuel prices coming down. So gasoline prices could fall below $2 by winter, and the average price for regular gasoline stood at $2.68 a gallon on Wednesday, according to AAA. It's down 14 cents, or sorry, it's down 14 days in a row for a total decline of 9 cents a gallon. We could see average gas prices drop another 20 cents over the next few weeks as long as oil remains stable. This is from Michael Green, a spokesman for AAA. More dramatic drops may come after Labor Day once the busy summer driving season is over and people buy less gasoline, possibly getting it down to $2 a gallon.
Wow.
Be a nice winter if that happened.
It would.
For those of us that have fleets, that'd be a really nice winter.
It's really nice, yeah.
Yeah,
it's
well,
been nice lately. Just
It's said in here, too, in this article that for every, let's see here, for every $12 drop in the price of crude, gasoline prices drop 30 cents a gallon. Okay, so that's the article that Larry sent me. We'll get back to that in just a minute. We do have lines open, 303-477-5600. Dan in Lakewood, you are back. What's going on?
Oh, yeah, I have this 98 Mazda truck,
Okay.
and I replaced the radiator cap. It's leaking coolant, and the funny thing is, the expansion tank will go empty,
Okay.
and then the coolant level will go down like 2.5 inches from the top of the radiator, and then it'll stop leaking. After that, and the temperature gauge stays the same and everything. So
wow.
I checked all the hoses. I replaced the radiator cap. Like I say, the cap was worn. The seals, the seal was worn on the old one. But
Well, it's got to be going somewhere, though. The water's got to be going somewhere, and you don't see it out the tailpipe. You don't see anything coming out the tailpipe as far as white smoke or anything at any given
no
time.
smoke. No, when you're driving it now, when you start it, no smoking. No.
Do you have a pressure tester that you can hook that up to?
I haven't done that yet, but
What I would
that's
do
what I was
is-
planning on doing next. But I just had one. I just wondered that petcock, the drain valve.
Uh-huh.
I'm just wondering if that has a rubber seal in it. That maybe it could be leaking from that. It seems like it might be leaking from that, but I'm not
Well,
positive.
if it's leaking from that, it's not going to be that much. I mean, that's a lot. You're talking like almost a half a gallon or more of water going somewhere, coolant going somewhere. I would pull the plugs out of it and see if if they're clean. If one's really, really clean or something, or at least take the plugs out, pressure test it, and let it sit there for about a half an hour to an hour and see if you get water going inside the cylinder.
That's not good.
Have you looked at the oil cap? Pop off your oil cap and look and see if it's a milky whiteness
Yes.
or anything.
Yeah, because I check my oil all the time, and I check all my fluids, and
So you got nothing on the oil.
no.
Yeah, so that means it's not getting into the crankcase, but it doesn't mean that you still don't have a head gasket leaking, that you could be going through pushing it through and burning it out. Yeah. That'd be my next thing to do. Is if I was working on it, is I'd pressure test it and pop the plugs out, let it sit there for a while.
The weird thing is it goes down a little ways, from the top, and then it just stops leaking, and then it just stays at that level.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, that's what I would do. Is I would just pressure test it and see what else you can do. Other than that, I mean, wow. I don't know what else. What do you think, John?
I don't know. I've been answering emails.
Oh, have you?
from listeners, so I'm letting you answer this one. That's okay.
Yeah.
You're fine.
Yeah,
You're doing well. I'm listening in. You're doing great.
And that's the only thing I would suggest, Dan, at this point, to be honest with you. I would pop the plugs and pressure test it and see. It's got to be going somewhere. The fluid's got to be going somewhere.
It doesn't just vanish.
No, and that's a sealed system, so it can't evaporate.
Right.
I mean, you could put a pan underneath the drain plug if you want, the petcock, but I don't think you're going to get much out of that. Yeah.
I mean, to Dennis's point, it's got to be going someplace. The key is figuring out where and what's causing it, and the head gasket situation could very easily be what's going on.
The other, maybe you have a radiator cap also that could be bad. That's allowing it.
Could be.
Yeah, I replaced that radiator cap a few days ago.
Okay, so you put a cap on it. And here's the other thing that I would ask. Is it building pressure inside the cooling system? So in other words, when you go to take the cap off, does it have a lot of pressure built up inside of it, or does it seem about normal?
Well, it has pressure.
A lot?
I haven't tried to take it off when it's at running temperature yet, obviously, but,
The other thing you could also try to do is leave the cap off, let it get up to running temperature, and see how many bubbles and if there's anything coming into the coolant itself with the cap off. If you see a bunch of air bubbles and things going on at that point, that'd be a good indicator it's got a head gasket leak.
Yeah.
Would a head gasket, would that cause for acceleration decrease and stuff like that?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Because it doesn't have any.
Yes.
It still runs the same as it.
Yes, it could. Now, it doesn't always. It depends on where it's leaking, but it doesn't always cause it. But can it? Yes. And again, the other thing Dennis mentioned earlier with one of the other callers is you can pull spark plugs also and look at spark plugs and tell a lot by what's going on with the spark plugs as far as
if they're being clean.
The color, is it clean? Is it wet? Things like that will tell you whether you've got an actual leak inside that cylinder.
Because when it burns, it'll clean the plug off.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the plug will look really clean. It won't look foul or anything.
Exactly. It'll look like it's never fired.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to describe it. It's like running steam across it, which is essentially what you're doing.
Yeah.
Right.
The other thing you can do is if you're handy enough, Napa sells a kit where you can actually test carbon monoxide in the coolant system itself. You could buy that kit and do that test yourself if you're so inclined. You're just going to spend, what does that kit probably cost? $60-$70?
Right. Right.
So you can do that yourself or have a shop do it for you.
Yeah, I think I'd rather have a shop do it.
Yeah. There's several things. Everything Dennis has gone through, I would do. Plus, I think I would also check carbon monoxide in the coolant.
Okay.
I'll
go.
That was great, Dan. Appreciate it very much. You're very welcome. Tell him a minute ago, yes, I'll answer emails during the show if you want. So just send us an email, drive-radio.com, or directly to me at john@drive-radio.com, and I'll get those answered for you and get them back as soon as possible. By the way, if it's Sunday, I didn't say this earlier and I should have. If it's Sunday after, you can't call us. Why? Because nobody here to answer the phone. We're gone. It's a request. But send me an email. I'll get your question answered as soon as I can. But if it's today, Saturday, right now, lines are open. We've got a little less than a half an hour left of Drive Radio. Give us a call. We'll get you right on air, 303-477-5600. Anything at all you want to talk about, we'll be back right after this. Don't go away. John Rush, Dennis Brewster, 560.
At Arvada West Auto and Truck, we won't try to impress you with a waiting room with a big screen TV and lattes. What we will do is give you good service and expert repair. We pride ourselves in being interested in you and your vehicle. We stand behind our work with the power of Napa Auto Care and a 3-year or 36,000-mile warranty. And if needed, we do have a customer waiting area. Come see us at Arvada West Auto for all your repair needs. We are located at 11752 West 64th Avenue in West Arvada, or call 303-422-1065 for an appointment.
At Napa Auto Parts, we've been the most trusted name in auto parts for over 8, probably because we've never stopped looking for ways to make the great parts we sell even better. It's a commitment to quality you'll find in every one of our 310,000 parts. From the bacteria-killing surface on our cabin air filters, to the patented damping mechanism on our drive-align belt tensioners, to our revolutionary new Adaptive One brakes. And Napa parts are covered by a warranty that's good at any of our 6,000 Napa Auto Parts stores nationwide. Yeah, maybe you don't get this at your average auto parts store, but at Napa, we've spent the last 80 years making sure we were anything but average. To find the Napa Auto Parts store nearest you, go to NapaOnline.com. Napa, get the good stuff.
With over 125 locations in Colorado, southern Wyoming, and western Nebraska, there's only one place to get the good stuff: Napa Auto Parts.
Top auto manufacturers admit that today's high-tech engines on average can use a quart of oil every 1,000 miles. Why? To meet the government's fuel economy mandates, they use the faster-moving, low-tension piston rings that can clog quickly, reducing power, causing poor fuel economy. The Performance Oil Service from BG Products cleans piston rings and restores the fuel system. And it's backed up with lifetime protection for the engine. Ask your service advisor about the BG Performance Oil Service or go to bgfindashop.com. That's bgfindashop.com.
Reliability. It's what every driver wants from their vehicle. Regardless of make or model, you want your vehicle to take you where you need to go. Reliability is exactly what the Colorado Select Auto Care Centers offer. They've set the standard for excellence in automotive repair and maintenance. Each member offers Napa Auto Care Peace of Mind warranty, along with the highest level of customer service and integrity. To find a Colorado Select Auto Care Center near you, log on to drive-radio.com or call 303-546-NAPA.
John Rush, I want to talk to you about Lone Tree Veterinarian Medical Center. Their motto: we believe that all pets deserve to have a good life. They do complete pet care services every day, all at one location. In other words, they are open every single day of the week. That includes the holidays. Their normal office hours are Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 8 p.m., Saturday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., and Sunday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. And last week we learned that they do grooming, okay, of cats or dogs. They will groom them. They've got a full grooming center on site. I've been there. I've seen it. Again, this is a fantastic facility with you, not only you, the customer, in mind, but also your pet, who really ultimately is their customer. They have your pet in mind. Preventative care and illness, advanced dentistry, a complete diagnostics lab, digital x-rays, ultrasounds, you name it, they've got it, including swim therapy in case your dog or cats don't swim typically, but in case your dog needs some therapy, they can actually take care of that also. The phone number is 303-708-8050, Lone Tree Veterinarian Medical Center. Be sure you tell them that John Rush from Drive Radio sent you. John Rush, Drive Radio, KLZ 560, along with Dennis Brewster, and yes, Lone Tree Veterinarian Medical Center. Their other motto is we are the science of caring. So they even take care of pocket pets, including rabbits, guinea pigs, hamsters, sugar gliders, pet rats, and so on. What's a sugar glider?
I don't know. I was just going to ask you.
No clue.
I know what a rat is, but no.
Anyways, they've got it all. They will take care of your pets. They love pets. Complete pet care services. Lone Tree Veterinarian Medical Center. And yes, please tell them that I sent you. John Rush from Drive Radio. Let's go to Bob, who's up next. Bob, welcome. What's going on today?
All right, John, let me get you off the speaker. Just wanted to follow up on your comment about the gas prices. I just flew out to North Carolina Tuesday, picked up a 3/4 ton Suburban, so I got a chance to check some gas prices, kind of driving it back.
Yeah.
I spent $2.14 North and South Carolina, Tennessee.
Wow.
Was $2.11.
Wow.
In Illinois, which is always high, they were $2.29. So when I paid I didn't time my stop right, and I stopped in Hayes and paid $2.89 for my last stop last night.
Good grief.
So, but yeah, it's so I'm hoping that what I saw down there is heading our way.
Is Hayes a captive audience for fuel fill-ups or what?
Well, it's really, they've got a new truck stop there that, you would have thought they were giving gas away, and I needed a break. It was, midnight last night or something. I hit it. So I just took the pain, but Yeah, it was fun, particularly in Illinois, because their prices are normally like 60 cents higher than the surrounding states.
So this article could very well be right. Well, and I had Stanley Thorne, our oil expert, on earlier in the week, talking about what's going to happen if the sanctions are lifted, which most likely they will on Iran, and there's going to be more oil coming into the market, and chances are you're going to see prices continue to drop.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's kind of.
Yep.
I think we'd all like to see it.
Well, and my prediction is, and I could very well be wrong. I've been wrong in the past, but I don't think we're going to see huge gas prices for a very long time because we still have a lot of oil.
Yeah, if we can just get it moved.
Yep.
I think we need a pipeline or something to do that.
Yeah, imagine we need a pipeline and to lift the export moratorium we have in the United States exporting crude oil.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, get rid of those two, and we'd be in great shape.
Yeah. Sounds good. Take care.
Yep, you too. Take care, Bob. Appreciate the phone call very much. Let's go to John in Littleton, who is up next. John, welcome.
Hey, good morning. Yeah, I've been a car guy for a long time, and way back when drag racing first started. But the electric cars. I was over on Wadsworth, and there was a Leaf beside me, and I ran around the corner with my Escape, a 3-liter 6. He come around the corner on the inside. He got on that Leaf, and he left me in the dust going up the hill.
Yep.
I'm going, and you guys. And we're all talking about all these problems that can happen to internal combustion engines. I mean, it doesn't take anything to screw them up, little things. I mean, they're relatively, not uncomplicated, but I mean, they're reliable now to a point. But it seems to me, you don't have the radiator problems. You got problems with drivetrains, of course, and those kinds of things.
Yeah, drivetrain, brakes, tires, steering. Steering components are going to stay the same.
But I mean, look at the lack of moving parts in an electric car versus internal combustion.
You're right.
I mean,
You're right.
What's going on here for the future? I mean, with this, I see in the next 20 years, with the way Google's going and everything else. I mean, electric cars. The batteries that Elon Musk is building out in Nevada, maybe he's going to have something that'll run 200 or 300 miles. I don't know.
Yeah, I think what you're gonna see happen next, and Toyota just released this. Oh gosh, within the last 2 or 3 weeks, they're now selling their hydrogen car in California.
Yeah.
They just launched that, and I would predict, and again, like I said a minute ago to Bob, I've been wrong before, but I would predict that movement will actually catch on and probably gain ground faster than the electric cars will, because it's because you can use the same infrastructure we currently have with gasoline to fill hydrogen cars with. That's why.
Well, they're all trying to get in on whatever going to work for them. But that Leaf, I was impressed with the way that Leaf
go hop next to a new Tesla and talk about power.
Oh yeah. There's a neighbor of mine's got a Tesla up the corner here, and
so real quick, did you hear the other day that Tesla released for $5,000? You can pay them to do a software unlock and get that Tesla to get this 0 to 60 in like 2.8 seconds.
Yeah, isn't that amazing? I mean,
fantastic.
Fewer moving parts, no radiator hoses, none of this other stuff that goes crazy. I know it's gonna change your business, but not as long as you're alive, probably. But it's going to change the automotive business over the next 25 years.
Yeah, it'll change it. And like I say, the things that will stay consistent. This is what auto shop owners are going to have to stay accustomed to: is tires, suspension, wheels. Brakes, braking, the drive components to actually drive the wheels. And even as time goes by, those electric motors will go bad. You'll have to replace those, the battery replacements, all those things will have to be taken care of. And then, of course, the stuff that's the commonality on all vehicles is windshields, wipers, the heating and the HVAC side of the fence, the interior components, the way the seats move, all of that stuff will of course stay the same. That's not going to change.
Yeah, I'm thinking that auto techs need to be training up on electronics. Most of them are.
Yep, they are. No, you're exactly right. That's exactly where it's going to move to.
And pretty soon you wouldn't even be steering the car.
Yeah, they're going to drive themselves before long.
Oh boy, yeah, exactly. What's going to go on with drag racing and all? I mean, that's come along in the last 60, 70 years, and when you got a Tesla that can do that kind of thing on an electric motor, I mean, what's all the big deal about going out here and seeing something blow up on nitromethane and all this kind of thing? I don't get it anymore.
Yeah, well, the difference is the thrill of watching a nitromethane dragster run down the quarter mile, it's actually 1,000 feet now, in less than 4 seconds with 5,000 plus horsepower versus the Tesla that makes no noise. I mean, the thrill of the spectator side of the fence on the
noise.
The noise factor and you just the thrill of it. But to your point, things will change. I mean, even drag racing has changed from the days of when my dad was doing it in the late 50s, early 60s to what it is today, and it'll morph and keep changing also.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I was just thinking, geez, you guys are talking about all, I've been there, all these little things that can go haywire, radiator caps, radiator hoses, flat cams, all this kind of stuff. All that just goes away with electric motor, man. It's just, there it is.
In the future, we'll be talking about, brushes and wiring and batteries and connections and all that sort of stuff. The flux capacitors, those sorts of things is what we'll be talking about.
Capacitor, there you go. Okay,
John,
man,
great call. No, appreciate it very much. And he is exactly right that, times will change. Here's how you have to look at this. This is what I've told even the auto shop owners that I consult with on a regular basis. Okay, right now it's 2015 and the average car on the road is still around 12 years old. So that means that a 2015 year, model year car right now is still going to be on the road easily by 2030 and probably even 2035. Now, between now and 2030, will more things start to change? Will there be more electric vehicles on the road? Possibly. More than likely, yes. But the vehicle of today will still be on the road in 2030.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, does that mean it's going to be around in 2060? I don't know. That's a whole nother question, or even 2045, each 15 years. I don't know. That's a great question. All right. Nate, hang tight. We're going to take a quick break real quick. We'll come back and talk to you on your 91 F-150 of the injection system. Don't go away. Drive Radio is coming back right after this with John Rush and Dennis Brewster right here on KLZ 560.
Reliability. It's what every driver wants from their vehicle. Regardless of make or model, you want your vehicle to take you where you need to go. Reliability is exactly what the Colorado Select Auto Care Centers offer. They've set the standard for excellence in automotive repair and maintenance. Each member offers Napa Auto Care Peace of Mind Warranty, along with the highest level of customer service and integrity. To find a Colorado Select Auto Care Center near you, log on to drive-radio.com or call 303-546-NAPA.
When your car starts making noises you've never heard before.
First thing that goes through your mind is, uh-oh. The next thing is, geez, now where am I going to take this? Do you have a mechanic? Do you trust a mechanic? Do you know where to go? Who do you rely on?
Ed Beery is the owner of Tilden Total Car Care in Englewood and Aurora.
We want to be that mechanic for you. We want to be the folks that you can bring your vehicle to and trust that we will do what is right for you and your car every single time you bring it in.
Tilden Total Car Care employs the best ASE certified master technicians. They're AAA approved, BBB approved.
We've got a lot of letters. We got the alphabet running after us because that's one of the things that you have to do to help the folks that don't know us yet know that we're actually the good guys in the business.
You found quality car care you can trust at Tilden Total Car Care, where life is about helping as many people as you can as fast as you can.
Tilden Total Car Care, 2 locations, Federal at Bellevue or 6th and Peoria.
How stressful. You hear a noise, see a fluid leak, feel something funny, a little light comes on your dash, or your car totally breaks down, and you have no idea what it means, what to do, or how to fix it. With how much we depend on our cars to go about our daily lives, you'd think they'd teach us this stuff in school. Luckily for you, you have us. At Community Auto, we're serious about what we do, and we're darn good at it. Having served Fort Collins and Northern Colorado for over 20 years, our family-owned and operated AAA-approved shop has family that extends far beyond our garage doors.
At Community Auto, we put the emphasis on care, not just auto repair. Ladies, ever felt intimidated going into an auto repair shop? Scared you'll be taken advantage of? Our female staff is friendly, knowledgeable, and will thoroughly explain and educate you on what's going on with your car. You'll be in the know and in turn be taken care of. Because at Community Auto, we know that a happy car will get you far.
We've all been there. You run to the hood and suddenly realize you don't have the parts you need. Or even worse, you don't know what parts you need. Well, at Napa Auto Parts, we have ASE certified parts specialists that'll make sure you find that right part. One covered by a warranty good at any one of 6,000 Napa locations. Yeah, finding the right part might not be easy, but fortunately, finding the right part store is. Go to NapaOnline.com for the location nearest you. Napa, get the good stuff.
Word of mouth is a great way to find professional references, but choosing an auto technician, it's one of those exceptions, unless that referral comes from another auto technician. Think about that for a moment. A referral from one competitor to another. Every Colorado Select Auto Care Center offers the industry-leading 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty on every repair. The dealerships can't even match that.
Hey, John, I need to do a mic check real quick.
At coloradoselect.org.
The two most critical and complicated components of your vehicle are the engine and the transmission. The engine makes it
You take the cake for that. So yeah, it's good.
Facilities specialize in one or another. Larry's Automotive and Transmission Repair does both, and they do both exceptionally well. Their technicians are ASE Master Certified, and the shop is A+ with the BBB, as you'd expect from members of Colorado Select Auto Care Centers. Larry's transmission experts are ATRA certified, so you can be confident that they know your transmission. Larry's is the rare combination of expert auto repair and the area's best transmission specialist. Your repairs are done faster, and it's far more cost efficient. Whatever you have under your hood, Larry's has it covered under one roof. Larry's Automotive and Transmission Repair. Call and schedule your special attention KLZ 560 appointment today. 303-427-2108. 303-427-2108.
All right, John Rush Drive Radio, KLZ 560, along with Dennis Brewster. It's 12:49 now. And don't forget, Sportsman of Colorado is coming up right after we go off air. In fact, we drug the guys in that are filling in for Scott today. So, Chris, you're with us. You guys, you and Willie both are from Pure Hunting, a TV show. What are you guys going to talk about today?
Well, you know, with a lot of hunting news in the media this year.
Cecil the Lion? Yeah, there has been.
Cecil,
I talked about him this last week.
Okay, so anyway, so we'll probably touch that subject a little bit, and then we'll again talk about pure hunting and some of the upcoming stuff going on this fall in Colorado.
Got it. You know, the way I compared it this past week, not to downplay anything, you know, I'm a huge hunter, avid, you know, want to make sure things are done right, never would, you know, agree with any kind of poaching, any way, shape, or form. So, you know, I'm never going to go that direction. But it's sort of like, you know what, no offense, but this lion was 13. Their average age of life in the wild is 10 to 14. So, you know, old Cecil already had a foot in the grave in the first place. So, you know, no love lost on my end. Sorry, but anyways.
You're going to get some calls on that one.
Moving right along.
You better move fast.
You're up next. What's going on? Hello, Nate. Are you there?
Yeah.
What's going on, sir?
F-150, 150K on it. Little use, 1 to 2 weeks at a time. It sits, developed a low idle miss.
Okay.
Low RPM miss all of a sudden. Got injected. Got any ideas?
You have any work done to it lately, or?
No, nothing.
Yeah,
And they don't have as much diagnosticability through the computer system that the later model ones do. So that's a tougher one to come up. You know, that's a tougher one to come up with an answer for. When did this start? Anything contribute to it, or did it just all of a sudden show up one day?
No, just started up and it's a low RPM, kind of a miss. Put in gear, it's a little more prominent.
Okay.
And I didn't know if there's a fuel.
Could be anything from an injector to a plug to a
low oil
plug
pressure
wire to you name it.
It could be low fuel pressure. It could be so many things.
Yeah, that is one where somebody that understands that system, and by the way, not everybody understands those early Ford systems, needs to look at it to figure out what's going on.
Yeah. What part of town are you in?
North Denver.
North Denver? Yeah, Larry and the guys at Larry's Automotive and Transmission, or Dorsey Johnson or Nevada West, either one of them could look at it for you.
Okay, quick question. Each tank has its own pump? Or is it
Yes, it does.
Yes.
Correct.
And is there a fuel pressure regulator?
Yes, there is.
In one for both tanks?
No, it's up on the rail that regulates pressure for the fuel coming in.
So it's one for both?
Correct.
Okay, what do you suggest as far as injector cleaners, maybe?
BG44K if you're going to do it yourself.
Yeah, just thought I'd try that first.
Yeah. If you're going to do it yourself, use BG44K.
And there's no scanning in that in the OBD2?
You can scan it, but that's not OBD2. That's OBD1.
Is that take a separate tool?
Yes, it's a different tool than what you'll use for OBD2.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So you, like I say, you need somebody that understands that system. It's
Yeah.
old stuff now.
Yeah, because you could throw a lot of money at it trying to fix it.
Well, that vehicle is what now? 24 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one older rebuilt transmission.
Yeah. I mean, I own an '89 version of one of those, so I'm not criticizing it, but it just takes different equipment to work on it.
Yeah.
Man, it's a good body and everything's fine. What it seems worth if you go to Peddler.
Yeah, no, it's worth looking into for sure.
What do you suppose it's worth money wise selling it?
Not a lot.
Nope.
Not much. Under $4,000. Maybe not even under. It might not even bring 2,500.
Give me 3. I'll give it to you.
No thanks. I have one already.
Yeah.
Later.
Yeah. Take care, Nate. Appreciate it very much. Let's go to Charlie, who's next. Charlie, what's going on?
Hey, John. Not a mechanical question, but I've got 4 granddaughters growing up,
Okay.
and I'm trying to figure out if anybody has any online courses or something. I don't want them to just get their license and off they go, because one day they're going to have their own vehicles, and they need to know what's going on so they don't get robbed every time they go to a shop,
Correct.
or they don't want to do something stupid and injure themselves. So I'm trying, and I don't want to teach them all my bad habits. So I wondered if there's anything you would suggest that would be a learning tool for them to at least get a basic understanding of what the vehicle's doing and how it operates.
How old are they?
Well, let's see. The oldest one is 15. She
Okay.
gets her driving permit next week.
Okay.
Then we've got 13, and then 11 and 9.
Okay. So as they start to get into high school, the thing I would look at is a lot of high schools and or the district they're in will offer, and it's an elective, they do offer some, automotive technician classes, and they just do the basics. Typically, they're a semester or 2, depending upon how you want to do it and enroll. They could probably go through just the first semester of either one of those and do just fine doing that, and there really shouldn't even be much of a cost to actually do that if they do it through the school district.
Okay. Yeah, I just thought they needed to learn the
It's a good
basics.
idea.
So
It's a great idea.
But
all right, I didn't know if Napa had some booklets or
They
online
all the Napa
information
stuff.
about.
All the Napa stuff for us as shops is all done internally on the auto care side, and you pay for it, and you have to have a membership number to even get into it, so it's not available to the retail public.
But listen to the radio show for a while, because I'm gonna try, and I'm trying to put these together. I was thinking about doing some women classes quarterly to talk about what you need to look for.
And they could just come to those also.
Yeah.
Yep. That's another way to do it.
Okay.
Yep.
I'll check
Right.
the school district and stay in tune.
Sounds
All right.
great, Charlie.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it very, very much. Let's go to John. Actually, sorry, he can't get him because Larry's still on the phone. So tell you what, we've only got a couple of minutes left. I did find this past week, which for some of you truck guys, you may enjoy this, especially on the smaller truck side of the fence. The Chevy Colorado, and I think it'll be the GMC Canyon, the 2.8 liter Duramax diesels will be released this fall for 2016. So that's going to give a whole new level of playing field when it comes to the small truck market. It's going to be available with a 369 torque. And what's the horsepower on it? Hang on, I got to find it. I don't know if it shows me in this article what the horsepower is. Nope, it just shows me the torque, 369 foot-pounds of torque. But it's a new 2.8 liter V6 Duramax turbo diesel. Have a trailer capacity of about 7,700 pounds. John, you're up next. Let's see if we can help you out one last time here before we end the show.
Hello. I have an 86 Ford F-350 diesel.
Okay.
And I don't drive it all the time, but I have it on trickle chargers, and I went to start it a couple weeks ago, and I was, instead of the normal, when you turn the key on, you get a clicking noise that the glow plugs are operating. I got this buzzing noise from inside the engine compartment, and it wouldn't turn over.
Okay.
So I didn't mess with it much. Next week, same thing. I was looking at the manual. They recommended a test procedure to check the starter solenoid. And I performed that test, which is you kind of jump across one of the terminals on it. And based on that, I still had this funny buzzing noise. It seems to be coming from what I think is the glow plug relay.
I was just going to say that I'm guessing the glow plug relay is what's buzzing, and that would not. I mean, that would cause a hard cold start problem.
Yeah, but yeah, the engine wasn't turning over. But
Okay.
from doing that test, weird thing that happened at that point is that I was looking. at the front of the engine, and I looked like a little vapor coming out of from the battery area. So I started disconnecting the negative cables as quick as I could.
Okay.
And before I could get them off completely, it popped one of the fill pops off of each of the batteries.
That's not good. Was that with the charger on it? Were you charging it at that point?
I think the trickle chargers might have been hooked up.
Okay.
Can't remember for sure now.
It sounds like they were overheating. The batteries were getting hot.
Yes.
Is what the problem was.
Yep.
So and they were low on water. I put the water in it.
Okay.
And since that time, I have not hooked the negative cables back up.
Okay.
I'm getting a direct short to ground. Anywhere I check on the chassis, I have a positive reading on my voltmeter.
You may very well have. What I would do before I did anything, especially knowing what the batteries were like and how low they were on water, I would put 2 brand new batteries in it and start your electrical testing that way. And I apologize, I'm running out of time, but John, start there. Put batteries in it first, then start going through the process of figuring out your electrical problems. You may very well just have a bad battery in all of this. So start there. I apologize, we're running out of time, because up next is Sportsman of Colorado, Willie Schmidt, Chris Nowak. Did I say that right? All right, guys.
Correct.
You guys are going to be up next. Pure hunting, and I'm not trying to make, by the way, little disclaimer, I'm not trying to make fun of Cecil and all that happened there, but we had enough other things going on this past week in other news where I just felt like Cecil's story got way more press than it deserved, considering everything else that went on this past week, which I'm sure you guys will talk about.
Yep.
All right. Enough said with that. We're out of here. You guys, I will see you next week. Rush to Reason in the afternoons at 3:00 and Drive Radio next weekend right here. Same time, same place. Dennis Brewster, thanks so much. Larry Younger on the other side of the glass, thank you. And Mindy, our engineer, thank you today. We will be back again next week. God bless you guys. Have a great week. John Rush, Drive Radio, KLZ 560.
Still haven't had enough? Go to drive-radio.com. Email your questions and comments, download previous programs, and find lots of useful information, including your nearest Colorado Select Auto Care Center. That's drive-radio.com. Thanks for listening to Drive Radio, sponsored by the member shops of Colorado Select Auto Care Centers on KLZ 560.
Drive Radio is a presentation of Colorado Select Auto Care Centers. The independently owned and operated shops of Colorado Select hold each other accountable for the highest standards of technical expertise, honesty, and professionalism. They all understand that choosing a mechanic is risky business. So Colorado Select was created by this exclusive group of like-minded